It's just truly Probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Probably Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know. Coach and Probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Gary. Yeah.
Alrighty, yes sir, we are ready to rock and roll here on the show, coming to you live from beautiful Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, where we've been enjoying this stop for 10 years, which is an amazing thing. Hope you guys are doing well. We'll be out here for a few hours having some fun. We got a bunch of guests for you today. We got a bunch of things to talk about today. Also on the program, it's one of those days where, there's plenty of things to talk about. And again, I don't know how it happens, but the sheet is loaded with all kinds of things to talk about. So we are ready to go. We're out here at Craig Zinn's, by the way, and you see the address there, 15601 Pines Boulevard. Come on by, say hi. Would love to meet some of you folks out there. Maybe you're driving around. Maybe you're watching. You got some time to come on by. Well, obviously, if you're not in town or maybe not even in the country, it might be a little difficult for you. But for those of you out there that might be close by, come on by and say hi. We'll be out here for a few hours having some fun, watching folks drive off the lot with great deals. We got a bunch of guests for you. Larry Holder is going to stop by. He covers the Saints. I think there's something going on with the Saints, right? And Drew Brees, right? And we'll obviously talk some Drew Brees today on the show. Plenty of Drew Brees. My buddy Tashawn Reed is going to stop by. Tashawn has been covering the Seminoles for The Athletic for a few years now. And he kind of left with one of the bigger stories he has covered since he's been at the Seminoles with, of course, the coach misleading everybody in his conversations. So we'll talk to Tashawn Reed about that and the follow-up to all of that. I mean, you had people coming out and they were just questioning whether the quote was real. You know, people are like, oh, he's, manufacturing. And I know Tashawn, he's as legit as they get, you know what I mean? But I hate to say that some of the stuff that people are fighting for, Tashawn Reed is feeling or felt a little bit of that because I think the vitriol that we heard and people going after Tashawn Reed, it had a racist tone to it. You know what I mean? Michelle Kaufman will stop by at 1:30. We'll talk a little Inter Miami with her. So we'll get the latest on what's going on with the league and Inter Miami with Michelle Kaufman. So we got a bunch of things to talk about here on the show today. I got a whole bunch of subjects that I definitely want to get into. By the way, the COVID count, we're still over 1,000. It's trended downward at least the last 3 days. After on Monday when we were at 730 deaths, it went up to 1,134 on Tuesday, 1,083 on Wednesday, and 1,031 on Thursday. We're one of 3 countries in the world with over 1,000 deaths. The other one is Mexico, and the other one is Brazil. Okay? So one in North America, one in Central America, and one in South America. And those are the three countries leading the way right now in the death rate. And so it's the reason why I bring it up, it's because we've opened the country back up again, and we've also now had protests, and we've seen a lot of irresponsible people throughout. And that's been an issue, whether it's the idiots in the Ozarks or whatever, and then the looters and the rioters and all those people getting, physical with people. So I'm interested to see how the numbers go over the next couple of weeks. And because we started to open up the country about, what was it, a week and a half ago, something like that, 2 weeks ago, right? Something like that they started.
It depends on where you're at, but yeah,
the levels of the country, right?
Somewhere in that area.
So you figure that's why I wanted to see what the numbers are and where they're going. And this is very, very important to look at that, because we're trying to get back to normal again. And hopefully we can get this thing to trend down. And, it's just look for it, man. So, it just one of those deals where it's scary times, man. Let's hope that we can clear this hurdle. The key, folks, be safe, be responsible. Don't throw yourself into the middle of the fray with a whole bunch of people. Try to keep your distance if you can. If you have to protest, try to maintain distance if you can, because that's really the only way we're really going to end this thing. And because if not, there's no second wave. This is just continuing. And think about this. If we're losing 1,000 a day, that's a pace of 30,000 a month. Okay? That's a lot of people to be losing. That's not a good pace. I don't want to hear that we're losing 1,000 Americans a day. That's got to end, man. You know what I mean? So please be responsible if you are going to be out there. Now, this pandemic has kind of taken everything out of whack, right? Our lives are out of whack. Our jobs are out of whack. Our careers are out of whack. Our businesses are out of whack. Our sports are out of whack. And it's obviously what's the driving force of this show, because it's supposed to be a sports show, right? And we haven't had a lot of sports. Now, we're going to get a nice overload, too, because of this. I was thinking about this. Do you realize with basketball now, we got a season that supposedly will start on July 1st, on July 31st, I'm sorry, and end by the middle of October with the finals. And when you think about the amount of basketball that we're going to get, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. If basketball is your favorite sport, for me, it's my second favorite sport. And I love basketball, man. I watch it. I play fantasy basketball, all of that. I mean, I'm a huge basketball guy. And this is going to be a lot of fun, but it's also going to be one hell of a challenge. Now, as for us, the fans and the media, okay, we had our basketball season, then we had a 3-month hiatus, right? Now we're going to get basketball back, like I told you, at the end of July. And then it's going to go through mid-October. Right after that, over the next 6 weeks, you will have free agency and the draft. Which, that, like I said, 6 weeks. So half of October and then all of November. But in November, you will also start training camp for the following season, because in early December, they're going to start the regular season again. The 2020-21 season will start in early December. So we're not going to have much of an off season. We're going to get a nice overload of basketball. Now, we did go through 3 months here without anything. We didn't have basketball. We didn't have a draft. We didn't have free agency. we didn't have a lot of the phases that we normally go through. So now it's all going to be bunched up in a short amount of time, and it's going to allow us to then the dead time that we had, we're not really technically going to have much dead time when it comes to basketball because all the off-season stuff will keep us busy. And then before you know it, here comes training camp. No summer leagues. No winter leagues, I guess, is what we would call them this year. At least I don't think there'll be any winter leagues since they can't do it in the summer. I didn't hear about that, actually. I'd be lying to you to tell you that that's a for sure thing. But I think because it's condensed, that also may be an issue with the summer leagues may not be able to take place either for the and that also puts up another level of testing and more so that probably that raises a lot more of the expenses. Teams will say, hey man, you got your training camps in the preseason, figure it out then. Okay, no summer camps this year. That's probably what's going to, at least that would be my guess. I did not actually read up on anything when it came to the summer league. But I love the fact that we are going to have, after going through this, dead time of all of this and not be able to have basketball, we are now going to get a nice overload of basketball for a long time to come now, deep into the summer. Because you're going to start the season later in December. So now you're going to go deeper into the off season. Your regular season, your postseason, all of that. That'll be interesting. I don't know how they'll handle the summer leagues on the other side of that. That'll be a whole different ball game there with that one. But if you're a basketball nut, you're going to get all of the basketball you can handle. So you were jonesing for 3 months. We didn't have our heat, all of that. And now you're going to get that overload too. And for Heat fans, this was the offseason that you didn't have the money anyway. So you don't have to sit through a long offseason of watching people make moves. It's pretty cool. Now we finish up this season, really short offseason. We start the next season, and when that season ends, that's when Miami has the money for that extra star. And that's when it really begins for the Miami Heat and trying to see if they can bring in that extra star and then pair them up with Bam and Jimmy and everybody else that you have on this team. That'll be really interesting. Now, when you look at how they got to navigate through all of this, and I'm talking about the Heat specifically, the one thing that none of us can count on right now is the way everything is broken down, the condensed part of the back end of the season, the short off season, to then restart the next season after that. You will get situations with players and teams and coaches that are going to be unhappy about what's developing with their teams. And if you have any of these hurdles, you're going to have to overcome them quickly because the following season is coming up right away. Pat Riley has made himself a career of finding the disgruntled player. And whether it's Zoe, whether it's Timmy, whether it's Shaq, okay, Jimmy Butler, you name it, Mason, he's done it over and over and over again throughout the history of this team, at least for 25 years under Pat Riley. He has been able to find the guy that is not happy there. It isn't working out for him. He's not satisfied with whatever's going on. You name it. Whatever the excuse is, whatever the reason is why that person does not fit in that puzzle. And then Riley grabs you and puts you into this puzzle, and it works. And he's been able to do that throughout time with really good players. Okay, let's not talk about the wave of mediocre players that they gave multi-year contracts to. Overall, he's been a monster at that. And he's going to have to find that guy. And maybe it's a name we didn't even expect would develop over the next couple of months. Somebody that becomes disgruntled with their current situation. They're not happy with the coaching staff. They're not happy with the owner. They're not happy with the direction. Whatever it is. They're not happy with him, maybe. Whatever. Riley's taken on the guy that was considered a jerk. And it was Tim Hardaway, and it worked out. And it worked out with Anthony Mason until he mishandled the Zoe thing at the end. I blame Riley more than anything else. He should have stuck with Mason and brought Zoe along slowly. But, hey, man, we're all human. We make mistakes. But that'll be the challenge of this shortened off season. But that's the one we have to all keep an eye on. And that's what the Heat will be doing. Because we all know about Bradley Beal, right? You know, and John Wall now says he's 100%. I don't know if he's going to play or not or whatever. I don't care. But I don't know if Beal's going to become available or not. I'm not sure. But is there another guy out there? Is there another situation developing that somebody may have to get rid of a star because of something? And that's what we're going to have to keep an eye on in this shortened back end of the season, shortened off season, to compress in to get to the next season. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress going on. A lot of money is on the line. A lot of money is being lost, too, by these owners and players. So there's a lot of frustrations brewing. And things could end up developing that Pat Riley could take advantage of. Something he's done over and over and over again over years. The question is, who's the next chapter now? He just added Jimmy. Does he add that next piece? And who is it? Who's it going to be? And that's what I think all of this stuff going on over the next half year, I think is going to produce something that we didn't expect and an opportunity that Pat Riley will be able to take advantage of next offseason. Not this shortened offseason, next summer after the finals end for the 2020-2021 season. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, that's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, my buddy Larry Holder is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. He's the Saints writer for The Athletic. Obviously, Drew Brees finds himself in a lot of hot water, so we'll talk to him. He's been covering that situation and that team and those players, and we'll get his thoughts on everything else going on there with Brees and that team. The other thing that I want to get into a little bit, and on the NBA side, is we've talked about this before. And I want to add something to the asterisk talk. I think what we need to do is add a star to the team that wins the championship this year, not an asterisk. I actually think it's a hell of an accomplishment, whoever does end up winning the title this year. Think about it. Your season was cut short. You've now been put on ice for 3 months. You have had to fight a pandemic like everybody else in America. You've had to try to stay healthy, keep your family healthy. Now you got to find a way to get back to practice, stay healthy, stay on the court, play the rest of the shortened season, then get into a tournament-like setting in the offseason and win a title. Whoever wins the title, I would tell you, has endured more than anybody in any normal season. This is harder to do than what anybody else has ever done in the past because of everything mentally that is weighing on you. Because no matter how much money you have, COVID scares the crap out of you. Because it's unlike some officers who are biased, this is not. This will kill anyone. And anyone that has any kind of pre-existing conditions, him, me, this thing will finish your ass out. This is humbled. I just told you, 1,000 people are dying a day. You're better than I am at math. I will never be anything you are in math. 1,000 a day, that's at least 30,000 a month, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's 365,000 a year.
There you go. That's not a joke, man. We're losing 1,000 Americans a day right now. Sorry. That's not something to smile at. Doesn't matter how much money you have, scares the crap out of you. Scares the crap out of you. Okay? We've watched famous people die. We've watched rich people die. We've watched any color, any nationality, all of that, any sex. It does not discriminate. There's a lot of pressure on all of us to just, Bill and I have continued to work through the pandemic. We have no choice. Whatever money we can make, we have to make it. We have no choice. Just like you. Just like everybody else. So for me, any player that has survived the season, both seasons, and the pandemic, and you were worried about you and your family, they didn't have to worry about getting fed. I get that's another problem for the rest of us. They have enough money. But health-wise, they had to worry about it, just like everybody else. And then you also have to play this back end of the season. Forget an asterisk, man. You deserved a double title for this one this year because you've had to overcome a lot. Okay? There's no other NBA season where you have to avoid death in order to get to the championship. I just want you to think about that. Because that's all, we're all trying to avoid death.
In sports, you would have to go back to the Roman gladiator times to avoid death to win your sport.
Amen. Amen. So that's where, this asterisk talk and all that. Listen, I got to commend people that are getting through all of this. You, me, Bill, everybody here at Craig's Inn Acura, and sports. Everybody, because we all have to fight through it. So let's not actually downplay the accomplishments that are going on right now. So if these guys are able to get through it, they're not our nurses and doctors. They're not our military. I get that. Those are the real heroes. I'm not trying to put them in some pedestal. I'm just trying to say, don't downplay the accomplishments of winning the title this year in the NBA, and by any stretch, label it with an asterisk. I just think it's unfair in a year like this. You had to go through a lot. Omar Lopez giving us a little love. He's the first one on the Super Chat.
I know that, dude. Where'd you get this?
Super Chat.
Oh, gnarly.
Thank you, Omar. Appreciate you out there chiming in on the Super Chat. Let me give some love here. Let me do a little roll call. King Short says, I am the new number one. Yes, you are. First in. Ray Grulon says, I am the number two checking in. Ian from Brooklyn says, what's up? DraftKings FanDuel says, what's up? Super Boom Shack says, happy Friday. To all out there, Drubo says, blessings to the fam. George Albanese is in. He says, no notification. You didn't get a notification? Wow. Herman Cueva, hey, Orlando, have you heard about wide receiver Kirk Merritt? Yes, we have. And I know he has some skills. Let's just put it that way. Drubo says Malcolm Perry's sign was nice to see. I think with him coming in, Balaj is out. not enough snaps for him. Well, Perry's also very multifaceted too, and that will help out. But we all got to see him on the field first and getting it done. Jean-Luc is in the house. Let's see, what else do we have here? Super Boom Shack, Bromar Smelly, Richard McLean says the Heat can do some damage in this tournament coming up. They play D and have several players capable of scoring in double figures. Yeah, but they're not good on the road, and they were a 500 team in the last 30-something games. I'm not sure, my man. I got to see it more. I think this is a young team that got exposed after the hot start. So we'll see. The tape is already there on them. Dougie Fresh says, I was checking out the cashier at the gas station this morning. What's next? Sears bra ads in the newspaper. The virus has to go so I can be a lurch again at the beach. Matthew Walker is in the house. Appreciate all of you chiming in there on the program. Always appreciate it. Drew Brees has been in some hot water here in the last 36 hours. In fact, it's such hot water, he's apologized twice. Okay, he issued a second apology. We'll replay that apology for you. But we're going to talk about what Drew Brees is going through and the players. A man that covers Drew Brees and those players every day is Larry Holder, Saints writer for The Athletic. He will join us next.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we ready to rock, baby. Yes, sir. Drew Brees is in a little bit of hot water there in New Orleans. A man that covers Brees and the Saints on a daily basis is Larry Holder. You can follow him on Twitter at Larry Holder. More importantly, you can catch his work at The Athletic. They're giving you 90 days free right now, so you can sign up and check out all the coverage locally wherever you live or nationally. They cover it all. Larry, kind enough to join us now. Larry, good morning, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Big O? Good talking to you again.
It's always good to have you on, my brother. So, first of all, when you see this story break, as the beat writer, what went through your mind right away?
Look, I knew that there would be backlash. I did not realize there would be this much backlash. But look, as the day went on and the message was received by his own teammates, I think he knew that he definitely messed up and needs to not just say it publicly that he apologizes for his mentality, but he needs to sit back and learn and understand what's going on, why some of his teammates are fighting so hard, to battle social injustice and police brutality and this, that, and the other. And like I'm telling you, I've talked with a lot of people, even some former players around the league, and they have never seen anything like this, where teammates have publicly turned on someone of the stature of Drew Brees. And this is something that he's facing up to it now. He's going to face up to it for a while, and but this is something that he's going to have to face up to for quite some time. There's no question.
Yeah, but the problem I have with this now, Larry, is we're starting to paint some picture here that's just not accurate of this guy. This is a good dude. He had a terrible point of view. He didn't have an understanding of a group of people that are fighting for a very important cause that we all need to fight with them for this cause. So, yeah, he mishandled that situation, but we're almost at a point where people are making it sound like he's some kind of, racist or something, and he's against black people. And I just think he had a strong conviction about something. He had the wrong conviction because he did not take other people's emotions into account or their sacrifices. So I think he mishandled, he misjudged it, but I think we're going to an extreme on Brees, and that's the part that I find a little disturbing, because I think we've seen enough of this guy to know that he's not, he doesn't have a bad heart. There's nothing, that guy's not cut from that cloth at all. You know what I'm saying?
No, exactly. I do think that he's genuine in all of his thoughts and everything that he said. And he's apologized publicly twice. He's apologized internally to his teammates. And some of the most vocal people in the NFL are a couple of his teammates in Demario Davis and Malcolm Jenkins. And I think that now, do I think some people in the locker room are maybe not going to look at him the same way? Probably still, but I do think that people will, at least internally, will understand the Drew Brees that they've played with a long time, and this sort of thing, and the fact that Demario Davis, someone who has been really out in front of this and really active in the community, and saying that Drew Brees, the way he admitted that he was wrong and wants to learn this, that, and the other, that it shows form of true leadership. And so if someone like Demario Davis is going to say that, we even got word randomly from Shaquille O'Neal last night, who was on the Zoom call with the team meeting, and said Malcolm Jenkins was one of the first ones to accept his apology, but they want to see more, and Drew understands that. And look, as hard as Drew Brees works and does this, that, and the other, does a lot of things really well in the community, and has done that so for years and years and years. Look, I think he's going to be determined to learn and stand with his brothers, like his teammates. Right. And so I do think that he is genuine and all that. But I will say this, though. I think he's going to have a hard time, players that don't really know him, players outside of the locker room, on other teams that don't know him. I think there's going to be mistrust. He's not going to convince them.
Yeah.
So I think that's that's something he's going to have to face.
Yeah, and Larry, the thing that I like about this situation here is Drew's not a talk guy. He's going to follow it up with actions, and I'm looking forward to seeing his actions because I think he's smart enough to realize now the optics of everything, and that talking is one thing, and since he's always been about acting. When you talk about being a social activist as it is for that New Orleans community, I expect him to do something now to follow this up. And I'm interested to see because he knows now he's got to win some people over, which is, by the way, still kind of twisted when we're talking about a guy like this that has meant so much to that area and meant so much after Katrina and everything. I just have a hard time. I just, Larry, I have a hard time. I can disagree with the guy and I can tell him he's wrong, but I can't. There's no part of me that could dislike this kind of dude because I feel it that this dude is cut from the right cloth.
I do think, though, that he's going to face an issue where, all right, he's going to be doing, he's probably going to be doing things with, actions rather than just words. Mm-hmm. And yet people are going to question if he's just doing this just because he got caught up in a PR storm. Look, he has certainly been a corporate guy. Look, he's a brand. I mean, he has made tons of money doing commercials and this, that, and the other. And so, people they're going to question his motives. I get it. Me personally, having covered this guy now for 15 years, I think he's genuine in what he's going to be doing, but I'm not someone else, and so they have the right to have their thoughts about him as well. But I just feel like he's going to be genuine in trying to learn and understand this because he definitely does not come from that same background. But like I said, he's made a lot of money in this league, and he could be looked at in a certain light, and I understand that, but yeah, I do think, though, that it's got to start just internally. I mean, it's going to be step by step by step, and he's not going to win everybody over. But he had, it's amazing to me that there was a protest march on St. Charles Avenue a couple nights ago, and the chants were "Bleep Drew Brees." I never would have thought that would have happened in my life ever, but it just goes to show you how passionate people are, in what's going on in society right now, and I understand it, and I don't think he understands it fully, but I think he's taking the steps to start to understand it more fully.
So let me ask you something. When you talk about on-field, I mean, Larry, I'm old enough to know the story about the Knicks. Back in the 70s, it was 12 guys, 12 cabs. That was the saying for those Knicks in the early 70s. They didn't get along, and they went in different directions every single night, and they won a couple titles. This Saints team, Larry, is pretty special, man. They've got enough talent to win a title. Can they overcome this stuff and be professionals about it, especially when the most important guy is in the middle of this controversy?
I think the fact that this happened in early June gives them time to kind of mold and this, that, and the other. If this were to happen in week 3, this would have been, it could have torpedoed the whole season. I do think that the timing of this gives them enough time to deal with this. I think Sean Payton is probably the perfect coach in the NFL to be able to navigate this because he relates well to players and social issues and things like that. But I'm sure there's going to be people who are thinking, all right, this is Drew. Well, let's hope this is Drew Brees' last year, and then you can get past this. Because, there's a lot of thinking that would be the way it is anyway. When last time we talked about Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. So, so there was that thought process. But look, do I think they have the people who can be professional enough in there and the leadership? Yes. I just talked about Malcolm Jenkins, Demar Davis, someone like Cam Jordan. If those guys will support Drew Brees, I think others will too. But, I do think that, this is always going to be in the back of their minds. I mean, it's going to be human nature, and it's really crazy that we're talking about Drew Brees in this light because no one would have thought about him in this way a week ago, you know. And so it is. It's definitely something that I never thought I'd run into, like a locker room turning on Drew Brees. Like I thought that might be the last person that would ever happen to.
Yes, exactly. I'm with you 1,000%. I never thought that we would ever see this. Larry Holder, of course, covers the Saints for The Athletic. You can follow him on Twitter at Larry Holder. Are you surprised that we have not heard from Malcolm Jenkins publicly? Even I know Shaq said he was one of the first guys to accept the apology, but Malcolm came out so strong publicly. Is there a need for him to come out again and follow it up?
I think it would help Drew Brees. Like, I don't think, like, personally he has an obligation to do that. But, I mean, if he's genuine in that, then I think he will say it. Like, those speaking out publicly now, because we've seen Michael Thomas do it, and we've seen Teron Armstead do it, and so, high-profile players in that locker room have done it. But there's also something on Twitter where there was Shannon Sharp saying Drew Brees should retire, and Marshawn Lattimore liked the tweet. So, I think it's, maybe they still need time to marinate on it and this, that, and the other. And so, everybody has the right to think what they want to think in there. And so, but I do think that for Drew Brees, that he needs the approval of Malcolm Jenkins, not just PR-wise. I just think inside that locker room, this, that, and the other, because people really listen to what Malcolm Jenkins has to say, because he's extremely well-versed and educated in everything that's going on right now.
Let me ask you something, Larry. When you look at Brees' situation from here on out, is this something you think that actually could hurt his legacy down the line? Because, again, the way this is snowballing, it's just kind of bothersome. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's going to be attached to it. Like, let's say, for example, this is Drew Brees' last year. I would be writing, I'll look back at Drew Brees, this, that, and the other, and yet what's immediate in your head right now? And it's that. And, it shouldn't be his entire legacy. There's no doubt. Will it be mentioned, though? Say if there's a documentary on Brees, like, this will be mentioned, and I do think part of it is that his stance was this way when Colin Kaepernick was originally doing this a few years ago. So I think that bothers people a little bit too, and that is this way. And it was the same stance that he had then, and but I do think it's attached. It's just wild because look, I feel like I know the guy, and that this is not who him as being like dubbed a racist, like that is not who he is. Like, this is not who he is. I think his stance was wrong, and obviously a lot of people have too. And yet, I hope for his sake it's not attached to him, but it wouldn't be surprised to me if this is mentioned in any sort of little explanation of him when you hear about Drew Brees and he's gone, and people might still think about it.
One more thing before I let you go. Larry Holder, of course, Saints writer for The Athletic. The picture of him kneeling, that's been a sore spot too, because you say one thing, but you have kneeled. And so how's that controversy worked out there?
Well, look, he kneeled before the flag came out and before the national anthem was played. Like, that was a calculated thing that I'm sure they can, when all that was going on, I'm sure he agreed to do it if that was the way they did it. And look, that's how much trophy he has in a locker room before, and people respected that. And so, so he wanted to take a stand with that, but he wanted to do it in a certain way, not with so that's so that's how that was done back when that movement in the NFL was really prevalent. So, that's his way of, look, I want to fight the fight with you guys, but I want to do it a certain way. And, so it's, but it's not the same. It's a little bit different climate today than it was a few years ago, for sure.
Amen. Follow him on Twitter at Larry Holder. and catch his work there at The Athletic. And at this moment, they don't even have to pay to actually, but paying, by the way, is like $4 a month, which is a joke. But right now, you guys are offering like 90 days, right? People can get 90 days, right?
Yeah, well, you can jump on, and then look. You know, we've been writing great perspective on everything involving sports outside of the games, and look, you know, we're going to come back when the games are certainly strong and keep doing incredible journalism over at The Athletic.
No doubt. The Athletic is kicking ass, and so is Larry Holder. Larry, thank you for taking some time. You're an absolute stud, my man. Hang in there. Stay safe. Stay COVID-free, my friend.
You too, buddy. Always good talking to you.
Thank you, my friend. There you go. The great Larry Holder, man, from The Athletic, covering the Saints. That is one hell of a story. This is pretty cool. Volunteers painted Black Lives Matter on 16th Street in Washington. It's pretty cool. If you check it out there. For those of you on video, you'll be able to see what I'm showing you there. But did you see this? Look at this, Bill. That's pretty cool. They painted Black Lives Matter, and I'm talking about like a large Black Lives Matter, like enormous. Like each letter takes up the entire street. You know what I mean? It is absolutely a beautiful thing. That's pretty cool. That is very cool that they did that. That is impressive, baby. You got to check that out. I retweeted it, by the way, so if you want to go to my Twitter page, at Big O Show, you can check it out. And we thank Larry Holder for joining us there on the program. Now, Drew Brees did issue his second apology. Okay? Let me, Bill, do you have the second apology for Drew Brees? So we played the first one for you. Why don't we do this? Do you have the first one too still? You have that one there also? Well, play the second at least. If you have the second, let's play the second for the moment. But you guys, most of you heard his first apology. And clearly, this is when you know somebody. This is why I give him the benefit of the, like Vic Fangio, to me, is the old white guy that is telling you that, oh, no, I'm sorry, this and that, because it's what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? You understand? Like the lady in the park with the bird watcher. And then she apologizes after. Yeah, after she lost her job, after she's been thoroughly embarrassed, after she's been exposed for the racist that she is, she then apologizes because that's what she feels you need to hear, not because she's really apologetic. I don't think Vic Fangio's apologetic. I think he's like, oh, I was wrong. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, oh, I apologize. I'm sorry. But deep down inside, he feels the same way. No racism in his eyes. Okay? Now, he may be completely ignorant on this. And then again, he may be racist. I don't know. Not sure. But Drew Brees, he had a terrible point of view. Okay? That, for me, he had a terrible, but he's not a terrible person. Okay? His opinion may have been wrong, but he's not a bad dude. He did not take into account other people, obviously, but he's not a bad dude. We all make mistakes, okay? We say things, we do things insensitive, we do things sometimes that we regret after. And we show our regret, how we truly care for that person, okay? And I think Drew Brees is a guy that truly cares about humanity in general. I don't think he has a racist bone in his body. I just think he had a terrible point of view. That's all. And I don't think he understands what it is to be an American. And I considering his family fought for the rights, I don't think he understands the rights they were fighting for. Because those are the rights that Black America is exercising. It's their right. And so, but that's second apology. Now let's hear from Drew Brees. Bill, play it, please.
I know there's not much that I can say that would make things any better right now, but I just want you to see in my eyes how sorry I am for the comments that I made yesterday. I know that it hurt many people, especially friends, teammates, former teammates, loved ones, people that I care and respect deeply. That was never my intention. I wish I would have laid out what was on my heart in regards to the George Floyd murder, Ahmaud Arbery, the years and years of social injustice, police brutality, and the need for so much reform and change in regards to legislation and so many other things to bring equality to our black communities. I am sorry, and I will do better, and I will be part of the solution, and I am your ally. And I know no words will do that justice. That's going to have to be.
There we go. And so, look, and everybody's not going to agree on all of this, I'm sure. Let's see what we got on the chat board here. Drubo says, I think Breeze will use it as a great opportunity to make a great example of himself. I'm praying for him because this is a bunch of weight to carry the entire white community on his back. Alex says, yep, if they hate Drew Brees, it is what it is, but I refuse to believe he's a bad guy and he will try to fix it. I agree.
That guy's done too much for that city, man.
Yeah, that guy's been so good. And no, he's just a good human being. And it's just, we all make mistakes, man. I mean, he wasn't, it wasn't like he was saying something outright racist. He just had a terrible point of view on that. That's all. But it wasn't like he was a malicious person and wishing bad on anybody or not allowing somebody to exercise their rights or anything like that. I don't think he has a good understanding of actually what his forefathers fought for. Anyway, his past speaks for itself. George Albany says, Breeze is a good guy as there is in the NFL. Kenny the Jet was not feeling the apology. He was very hurt by Breeze. He looked like he was in shock, but said he needs some time. Okay, I got no problem with that. I got no problem with somebody still, not ready to forgive him right away. But I think if you give him some time, I think you'll understand it. I think you'll come to respect it. I think you'll give him that second opportunity because of who he is. Again, Vic Fangio, I don't really think he's that sorry or really realizes what he said. Drew Brees, you can tell it affected him, that he screwed up. He realized it. But by the way, folks, don't you screw up and I screw up. And there are moments where we weren't good about it, but there are moments where we realized we screwed up, right? And we took responsibility and we tried to correct it and we didn't make excuses about it. We assumed it. We took on the responsibility of it and we overcame whatever thing that we made a mistake on, right? Isn't Drew Brees entitled to do the same thing? If this was a bad dude, if this was John Rocker, okay, then, now we're talking. Some of you are too young to know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm trying to think of give me somebody recent white racist. I'm trying to think of. It's just
Do you want me to talk about the guy at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Oh, stop. What's it called? I'm just trying to think of somebody that was out there because John Rocker's so old.
The guy in NASCAR, man, that was in the middle of the e-sport race.
There you go, the NASCAR guy. I don't even know the NASCAR guy's name. But that guy. If it was a person like that and then said the comments of Drew Brees, then you kind of know where it's coming from. But Drew Brees, I have a lot of respect for that guy. I think he's going to bounce back strong. I think he's going to show people how you bounce back from things like this. I got a lot of confidence in that guy, man. Let's see. Robert E. Lee never really conceded his views on white supremacy were wrong. He just recanted his view. What the hell is that? What conversation are you guys having now bringing up Robert E. Lee? Let's see. What do we have here? If we wait for pro athletes to guide public moral compasses correctly, we have a big problem. Amen. But Drew Brees is a good dude. I think I think he'll bounce back strong, man. If people have the right to kneel during the national anthem, why don't they have the right to dislike it? You can do whatever you want. It's a free country. You know? You can do that, bro. Now, maybe in certain businesses you may not be able to do it, but in their business they can. You know? That's all.
The problem is not allowing somebody the right.
Right. Yeah.
That's what it's about.
And that's where you get in trouble. Okay? Don't make the kneeling about the flag. White veterans came back from World War II with heroes welcome. Black veterans came back to sit in the back of the bus. Not about the flag. Yep. Amen. Amen. Can't say anything about that. All right, we got 1 hour down already, which is amazing that an hour has gone by. Damn, that's a fast hour. It's a really fast hour. We're out here, by the way, at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines, and they are still giving you some great deals like they do every month. But they've got some stuff going on now, 90 days, no payments during this tough time right now for the transition. Also, $750 off if you're a military veteran. If you're a first responder, $750 off. If you're a graduate, $500 off. So how about this? How about if you're all three? You're a military veteran that is graduating from nursing. Now you get all three. That's awesome. So come on down to 15601 Pines Boulevard. Check out the full line that we've got out here, folks. They will take care of you. Tell them that Big O sent you, whether it's Larry Schlossberg and Pat Nasto and Tony Stampone, all the great guys out here. And if you happen to own an Acura or lease one, please come on out here to our service center. Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber are the creme de la creme. They are amazing people. They will take care of you. And come on out, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business, baby. It is Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with zero down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we back. Remember, you can reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. We got the YouTube chat board. We got the super chat. coming on too. And we got the email also, Orlando at BigORadioshow.com. Orlando at BigORadioshow.com. That's the other way to get to us. Big O, former colleague of yours, is making an ass of himself. The idiot had the nerve to point out George Floyd's criminal history. Whatever. Listen, why am I going to talk about that loser? That dude's not even worth it. Marcell Ozuna recently suffered a facial injury after his wife allegedly hit him with a soap dish. Sources say Ozuna's wife, Genesis, was arrested after a 2-week police investigation and charged with domestic battery. The links for the story have yet to be released. As for Carl Crawford, I'll be sending it to your email, Big O. Yeah, I saw the Carl Crawford story that he threatened her with a gun, and then they called the cops. He ran away, and so they're, the whole it's a he said, she said thing. So they're being investigated. She has some pink marks on her neck, all that stuff. I had that story yesterday. I just didn't get to it yesterday. RVA in Richmond says, I will agree. He seems a good dude, but he did a lot for New Orleans. Besides, after the first TD pass, all will be forgotten. You're probably right. You're probably right when it comes to Breeze. You're probably right. The email, of course, Orlando at BigORadioshow.com is the way you can reach out to us. And Steve sent me an email. Steve D. Donato apparently was listening to QAM. No, it's called the Joe now, right? Yeah, what a stupid-ass name. Anyway, Big O listening to Joe Rose this morning here in Ohio. He mentioned you. A texter made a reference that he got you canned at QAM. Joe said, not true. He always liked Big O and said he misses you. Thoughts? Well, Steve in Canton, Ohio, and we'll see you in Canton, Ohio next year, Steve. And Steve, you better be with us at the Hall of Fame when we sing the Dolphin fight song surrounding Shula's bust. Okay? That is going to go viral next year. We're going to knock it out of the park with that. Remember that. As for Joe Rose, first of all, let me ask some of you out there, where do you guys come up with this stuff? Joe wouldn't get anybody fired, bro. Joe's a good dude. Now, could Joe change his own producer? Sure. If he didn't like his producer, he could get a new producer like any host could. That if they don't like the producer they're working with, they're not good enough, you can change them. That you can do. But you think Joe is going to worry about what I do or anybody else? Look, dude, it's a terrible business. That's all it is. It's just a bad business. And they fire good people all the time. All right? They fire my guy Curtis Stevenson, who's as decent a human being as it gets and does an excellent job as a talk show host. They fired Josh Friedman, who's been working his ass off his whole life. I had a producer with me, Brandon Rodriguez. Okay, no offense, Bill, but he's been my best producer that I've had in my career. Okay, he was with me for 7 years. All right, that guy grinded to hell. That guy worked his ass off. He was sick of the business. I'm the first guy to tell you that. But Brandon is as good a human being as it gets. And they fired him because they needed to get money out of the bill. The same time they fired Curtis, they fired my producer, Brandon, and they fired J.T. Wilcox. J.T. Wilcox is an excellent writer, reporter. He was helping out on the website. He did like 8 jobs for them. This is a terrible business, dude, okay? They fire great people. Forget about me, okay? And it has nothing, please. Don't ever do that to Joe or anybody else. You know why? Because people are stupid. You know, there's a section of you guys out there that you're really stupid. I tell Bill this all the time. There's a group of individuals that are really stupid out there, and they believe anything. And seriously, the guy that probably sent that probably believes he might like me. He might like me so much he thinks Joe got me out. And it's like, no, dude. No. My option was up, and they didn't want to pick up the option. And that's it. That's all, man. And like me, many others have gone by the wayside. That's all right. That's, the rest of us, I'm doing just fine. Okay? Pandemic and everything, we're surviving. We'll be just fine. Okay? I work for Sirius. I got the Inter gig now starting. We're all going to be good, man. We'll get through it. I'm not worried about it. All right? I'm a good employee. I've been at this for 30 years. I work my ass off. Very few people work harder than I do in this business. So I know I'm never going to struggle to get a job. Okay? But I work in a business that there's a lot of terrible people above us that don't know anything. Program directors, guys like Len Weiner that couldn't find their assholes with a funnel. And then you've got people above in management that are just as clueless as it gets. Okay? Once Joe Bell left, there was nobody worth it in management in that place. Okay? Greg Reed and Joe Bell and the Beasleys ran them like real sports stations. Once CBS took over, they only took over to turn a profit and sell all the stations they bought from Beasley. And they sold it all to Intercom. Who the morons at Intercom, did you buy Intercom stock, Bill?
No, I'm a little smarter than that.
Okay, all right, because, it was at $15. It's down to $2. What have I been saying for a long time now about Intercom? Where are they going to? What's it called again?
Around the bowl and down the hole.
That's right, bankruptcy. I've been telling you that for a while.
Them and Alabama Roll Tide Roll.
I mean, think about it. It's a local station. Think about the program directors and the people above. First of all, they name a station the Joe, which is stupid. It's like the worst name ever. And then they get Hawk and Crowder's show, and since they don't want to pay for talent, then they simulcast it on two stations in the same market that cover the same area. Like a real business would put the opposite show of Hawk and Crowder. Two women, hardcore sports show, something that's opposite of what Hawk and Crowder do. So you can generate more revenue on the other side. You know what I mean? It really, I'm telling you, it's just a terrible company. And Joe, and that's unfair to Joe's a good dude, bro. Okay? I can have fun with Joe. He and I can argue and go back and forth about Sue or Fasano, any of the stupid Dolphin arguments that we went back and forth on. That's fine. But Joe Rose is not worried about anybody getting fired. You don't know Joe Rose if you clearly don't know Joe. Joe Rose will screw around. He'll bust your chops. He'll, if something funny happens to you, he'll expose it on the radio, whatever. He'll have fun. But he's not a malicious dude where he's trying to screw people over behind the scenes. I saw that email and it was like, come on, man. Come on. It's just a terrible business. That's all it is, okay? That's all it is. When you fire Jade Alexander, bro, then I know what you are. You know what I mean? It's like that woman is cream. She's gold. She's got tons of sponsors. She's got ratings, everything. And why? Because you don't want... These people are stupid. Like, our salaries are covered easily by our sponsors. So why would you fire anybody that pays for themselves over and over again? But that's Intercom for you, bro. You know what I mean? So, again, nobody, not Hank Goldberg, not Jim Mandich, not Joe Rose, not Neil Rogers. I've worked with all of them, okay? None of those guys were ever malicious in trying to fire people. There was one dude that was like that, But, karma usually gets you and puts you out on the floor crying and sucking on your thumb and you're, drunk on the street. So that's usually what happens to people like that when you do that. Karma gets your ass. Ray Grulon on the super chat.
What?
Super chat.
No way.
Yes way. No way. Yes way.
They were fantastic.
Super chat. So it's all good, man. It's all good. I've told you guys this story before. I knew I was getting fired for 11 months. For 11 months, I knew I was getting fired. I had a meeting with the PD, and when I was done with that meeting, I knew right away I was getting fired. And I went right to my producer, and I told him, that guy's firing me. Get out of here. Trust me. It'll happen down the line. So I knew every day I was going to work, I knew I was getting fired. So in November, when he called me to the office, I go, finally. It was like, I had a smile on my face. It was one of those. You know what I mean? I mean, look at me the last 9 months that we do this. Look at me. And then if you followed me, follow me the last 2 years at QAM. And I wasn't very happy. I was pretty pissed off and frustrated at times because I know the crap that was going on behind the scenes. For me, you know where I knew I was screwed? Well, not me, but I knew we were all screwed. It's when I got there and then the Beasleys sold to CBS. And then I saw CBS took us over just to turn us over. And then Intercom took over, and then they were incompetent. And it was just like, you know, I got there and the Beasleys sold like 8 months later or something. If I would have known that, I would have never gone back to QAM. You know, I went back because Joe Bell was there, and I would work for Joe Bell anywhere. I think he's in North Carolina now. If I needed a job, I'd fly to North Carolina and work for Joe Bell right now, in a heartbeat. That guy I would run through walls for. But unfortunately, that's the way this business is. It's a terrible. That's why never, for those of you that are parents, if your child ever tells you they want to get into radio, please keep them away from radio. But you know how you got to do it with kids. You can't tell them you can't do this because then they'll do it. You know what I mean? And then they'll ruin your life because then they'll become a radio host, and you don't want them that. Trust me, you don't want them in this business at all. You're going to have to, you know, guide them in other ways. You know, play that child psychology game. Hey, why is it that you get bothered by police officers that work out and look the part? I heard what you said the other day about the steroid cop. Where's that hate coming from? Did I generalize, or did I just call that guy a fuertecito out? And you know what, Rene Lopez? You're Hispanic, so you don't know about a fuertecito que se cree grande, likes to shoot up and likes to fight and all that? You never met that guy? Huh, Renee? Are you acting dumb? Talk to me, Renee. You make it sound like that guy doesn't exist. You never met a guapito that likes to do the weights and all that stuff and always in trouble and trying to fight and now wants to be a cop because he wants to instill discipline? You never met that guy, Renee. Come on, bro. Let's go. This show is about honesty, Renee. My brother, if you can't admit that exists in our community, I can't help you, brother. I can't help you. Now, if you want to generalize and say that everybody that is doing weights is like that, well, that's you. That's not me. I didn't say that. You can go back and listen to the audio. Okay? I specifically talked about that kind of guy. Okay? I've seen that kind of guy. And that kind of guy, that was roid rage right there. That woman was doing nothing. She was on her knees with her hands in the air. And his frustrations led to grab her and throw her down. So Rene Lopez, my brother, if you can't decipher what I'm talking about and you can't understand, I can't help you, my brother. Can't help you. Got it? Understand, Renee? Oh, I used to commercial radio. It sucks. Some of the most incompetent people in the business, and I would buy stock in rotary phones before I would buy an intercom stock. Well, I mean, it's down to $2, bro. You definitely don't want to do it. Cookie Vice giving us a little love on the Super Chat.
What's going on in there?
Super Chat.
Excuse me a sec. What are you babbling about?
Super Chat.
If he
Super Chat.
will all
Super Chat.
it'll be anarchy. Out of my hands.
Matthew Walker goes, hey, didn't your ex-bosses yell at you for saying Whiteside was a moron for losing his rifle? They didn't yell at me. It was Len Weiner that sat down and he goes, hey, do you have to call him a moron? Do you have to call him a moron because he did that? And I go, well, Len, he left a semi-automatic rifle unlocked in his car. So, yes, I am going to call him a moron. Okay. That's it. I mean, I already knew I was getting fired by the guy. So what? I'm not going to be myself? And isn't Whiteside a moron? Yeah. Now, because the program director has no balls and he, works in a skirt, that's not my fault. I can't do anything about that. If he's worried about if the Heat are going to get bent out of shape and all that, I don't care. Okay? If the Heat doesn't like that I called Whiteside a moron, the Heat can kiss my ass. Okay? Just like the Dolphins and the Marlins and the Panthers and everybody else in town. Okay? I'm going to call it like I see it. And normally, I'm not off. Okay? Maybe the program director disagreed with me, but 99.9% of the audience agrees with me that Whiteside is a moron. Is Whiteside a moron, Bill?
That is easily a yes.
Okay, there you go. Okay? So, I mean, seriously. So if you can't handle the truth, I can't do anything about it. I love the Heat organization. If they're going to get mad at me because I said Riley made terrible decisions with Whiteside and James Johnson and Tyler Johnson, well, hey, too bad, bro. You can't handle the truth. Now, I know the Heat, so I know they don't get mad at stuff like that. The Heat is actually one of the few organizations I've dealt with in my history that they don't care if you rip them if they deserve it. If they know they screwed up, they don't care. Now, if you're making stuff up, that's when they get pissed. That's when you'll get a call. You know what I mean? I've never gotten that call, but that's because I don't need to make anything up. Call it like I see it. What is anybody in the Heat going to call me? And defend Whiteside? No, they're not. What, they're going to call me to tell me, no, the Whiteside contract and James Johnson and Tyler Johnson, those were really good deals. No, they're not. Okay? They're a smart organization. They're a good organization. They get it. But all the organizations in town also know that you're not going to call me to try to, tell me what you want me to say. No, that's not going to happen. So, yeah, they told me about it, but I told them, nah, I'm going to call him what I want to call him. Jean-Luc says, who's not going to see a 7-foot-tall man leaving something unlocked in a car? I know, right? It's like, dude, just hold on to the gun while you're in the range, and then when you are ready to leave, you leave with your gun. You don't go putting it in the car and then walk back into the range. Oh, somebody stole it. Really? Idiot. Oh, you must have been listening to Elephant Riders this morning. Raging Dolphin Maniac says, advertising agencies as other places you don't want to work for. I've never worked with more slime balls in one place in my life. Oh, I don't know. I've never worked in an advertising agency. I would have to take your word for it, Raging Dolphin Maniac, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Let's see. I was amazed that they were able to get rid of Tyler Johnson's contract. Oh, yeah. 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 It took a while. But as we got closer, that those contracts got closer to getting expired, then, yeah, that's where you got a little bit of break. Now, you were taking salary in, too. Okay? If I remember correctly, the way that worked out. So it wasn't as simple and clean as it looked. You did take something back in the process. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105. I figured I had to clear up that story just in case anybody was actually believing any of that crap with Joe, because Joe's a good dude. That's not fair to him. I'm still wondering about the challenge out there for some of you, because I have yet to meet anybody. I haven't met anybody yet watching Korean baseball. I'm still waiting for that first friend of mine that says, I'm watching Korean baseball. Every Saturday morning, well, I won't be doing it this Saturday, actually for the next couple of Saturdays. I am not going to be on Sirius for the next couple of Saturdays. I am off. They're actually cutting back more again. They're putting some of the full-timers actually on Saturdays because they don't have enough during the week either. So, but it's good for me, man. I've been doing radio 6 days a week with no sports. I'm actually glad I get to sleep in Saturday and Sunday and rest a little bit. What I might do is a little bit of a podcast over the weekend to add, if something develops and something like that, maybe I can do that. What was I talking about? Oh, yes. Every Saturday morning when I get up, actually it was on this morning too. Korean baseball was on, and it's on so early. One, what loser in this country, unless your son plays for one of the teams, then yes, I would be getting up and watching Korean baseball if my son played in the Korean Baseball League. But outside of literally being a parent of an American player that could be playing in the Korean Baseball League, who the hell, what loser gets up to watch that crap? Do any of you know anybody?
A degenerate gambler that has to gamble on some sporting event.
Wow. But to get up in the middle of the morning, like at 5 a.m. for a first pitch and bet?
If you're one of those people, man, yeah, I'm sure there's some of them out there.
Your addiction is really bad if you got to bet on Korea. Do you guys know anybody? Do you actually know somebody that watches Korean baseball? And if you know somebody, I mean, feel free to call them a loser. Feel free to ask them, do you need any mental help? Should we take you to a shrink? Like, why would you watch Korean baseball? As badly as I want baseball to come back, I don't want to watch Korean baseball. I just want my NBA. I don't want another basketball league. I want my MLB. I don't want any other baseball league. I haven't met one person. I wonder what the hell are the ratings for that? How many people are actually watching Korean baseball in America? I can't see more than 500 people watching it in this country. It's the weirdest thing, man. I haven't met anybody that say, oh, yeah, no, I saw a Korean baseball game yesterday. It's like, huh? I haven't met one person. I would think you're on dope if you got to watch Korean baseball.
Now you sound like Mr. Han. Are you all on dope?
Are you all on dope?
We've been talking about the plot amendment for 6 weeks.
Jean-Luc says it's the same people who watch the Little League World Series, probably. Tommy Italian 305 for live chiming in. What's up, dude? George says, Weiner, what an appropriate name. I lived in South Korea for a year and the locals didn't watch it. If you're betting on Korean baseball, you need help for real. Seriously. I mean, that's okay. I haven't met anybody that's watching Korean baseball. Now to meet somebody that's actually watching and betting on Korean baseball, yeah, they need help. They definitely need help. Dan Straley, yeah, I know he's there. Oh, man. Wouldn't they have to understand Korean, too? Yeah, it's baseball, bro. It's an international language. And when it's all signs. So you just got to learn what the sign is to steal, the green light, the red light, the swing, not swing, whatever, bunt. I don't know. Do they bunt in that league? I have no idea. I don't even know if they do bunt. Oh, Lordy. All right, let me tell you about Moody's Dental. We love talking about Moody's Dental. I've got my Invisaligns on right now, straightening out my teeth. In fact, I'll be there next Tuesday, for an appointment. They are open, ready to serve you. You're looking to clean those teeth. You got a cavity. You've been munching so much for 3 months now, right? You ended up eating all that sugar. You ended up getting a cavity. Well, get on down to Moody's Dental. Call them 305-821-0231. Mark that number down right now. Save it on that cell phone. 305-821-0231. Invisaligns, implants, you name it, crowns, whatever you need, a root canal, cavity, you want to clean your teeth. They do it all. State-of-the-art, family-owned and operated, super clean, impeccable. Call them, 305-821-0231. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. 305-821-0231 or go to moody'sdental.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
back. We're back out here at Craig Zinn's, Acura Pembroke Pines at 1 o'clock. We're going to talk to my man Tashawn Reed from The Athletic. He's the Raiders beat writer now, but he's been covering the Seminoles for a few years, and he just finished covering the Seminoles, moved over to Las Vegas, but he kind of left with a bang because he's the guy that interviewed the FSU head coach yesterday, a couple days ago, and Mike Norvell ended up obviously, sticking his foot in his mouth, and Tashawn Reed was the guy that had the quote. So we will get Tashawn Reed on, and we will talk to him. Myron Sanchez chimes in on a little super chat.
Wow. Recent research has shown
super chat
makes no sense.
Yeah, you're getting focused on all the wrong sort of details here. You need to forget about all the normal rules that apply in society.
Wasted no time. Super chat. I thought it was really, 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 really cool.
You should all be very proud of yourself.
I have no response.
Super chat.
That was perfect.
There you go. Myron chimes in. Black Lives Matter. The same Buffalo cop that was kneeling with protesters is the same cop that pushed the elderly man to the ground and started bleeding from his head. Same cop. Yeah, that man was 75 years old. Have you seen that scene? That is a disgusting scene, dude.
Was it at the same location as the one that was beating the girl as well?
I'm not sure.
With the batons? Yeah.
I'm not sure, but all I can tell you is, it's a 75-year-old man. And you just pushed his ass to the ground like nothing.
Can we compound it?
He hit his head. You see the blood coming out of the back of his head onto the sidewalk. Okay? And he's lying there like he's out, bro. It's 75, man. You don't have the same kind of reflexes. You can't protect yourself. You push a 20-year-old kid, they can roll. They can, they can kind of break their fall a little bit. They're athletic enough to move around. And you push a 75-year-old man, they're falling like a timber, bro. Oh, and he was tall too. He was easily 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", easily a tall man. And so now you're tall and elderly. Oh my Lord, you're gonna fall like nothing. And he fell. It's on my Twitter feed if you want to check it out. It makes you sick to your stomach. That man needs to be fired.
Oh, let's compound it. They lied. They said that he tripped.
Yeah.
Did you also see the one where the cops in Washington, D.C. attacked news people from Australia?
Yeah, no, and
and you know what they said? Oh, they fell and stumbled into us.
I retweeted one where they're spitting on a protester that they have handcuffed, and they're filming it. Folks, keep the cameras going. Keep the cameras going. That's been our blessing. This is how we win this. This is how we fix our society. This is how we educate people, because they need to see that video. Right? Because if you get into the he said stuff, it just doesn't end up working out. But the video ends up really sending a strong message. So keep those camera phones going. Those camera phones are a huge key to us correcting a lot of ills that are going on in this society.
And I don't want them just fired. These cops, charges.
Yeah.
Charges.
Yes. Yeah, that was disgusting.
You got to see the one with the girls, man. She's standing there. They tell her to move. She's just standing there doing nothing.
I saw it.
They push the bullets, and then they start hitting her with the baton.
Yeah. How about yesterday? There was a guy that there were a couple kids that were putting up some posters of George Floyd commemorating, the Black Lives Matter movement, and they were white kids. So this white man stops in the middle of it all and rips it out of their hands. It's like this old white dude that clearly is racist, and he's insulted that white kids are part of the movement. Clearly. That's again, go to my Twitter feed. You will see that tweet there also. You will see that video. if I'm the father of that daughter, I'm hunting that guy down. That's all I know. Okay? If I am a father of those kids and that guy terrorized my kids and he terrorized them, go look at the video. Those kids are legit scared and he runs one into the ground. Camera falls, everything. You see it all. Keep going with that camera. Don't stop. That camera is so important. Let's catch all these people in their acts. Let's catch and expose who they really are. That's the most important thing. Okay? Because you forget it, man. You see that scene with that man and those kids, and it just makes you sick to your stomach that stuff like that is going on and that people like that exist. And that's why you have racist people, because people like that have children, and that's what they teach them. They teach them to hate. Let's see. What do we have here? MLB players are going to have a tough time with the new rules. No spitting, no eating sunflower seeds, no shaking hands with teammates. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's everything's an adjustment for all of us, our lives, the way we do things. Everything's going to, 9/11 changed the way we do things, and this is going to change the way we do things. You know, some people won't be responsible, but a lot of us are going to learn from this. This is going to scare the crap out of a lot of us that have, conditions already as it is. So yeah, this is going to be a mission. So, Renee's back. Big O, you make it sound like all Cuban cops are roid heads. The guy that committed the thing was not a Cuban cop, bro. And I didn't say all Cuban cops, but again, you want to make it like that, bro? Go ahead. Renee, do me a favor, bro. Do yourself a favor, bro. Turn off the show. You know what I mean? That's all. If you don't agree with me, bro, turn it off. If you don't like what I say, turn it off. I'm not holding a gun to your head, dude. Okay? You know what I mean? And since, anyway, you don't really understand what I'm talking about, and you just bring up stuff that has nothing to do with it, it's all good, bro. Life will move on without Renee Lopez on the show here. Ramona K, Big O, question. Do you think the Dolphins right now have the best running back duo? No, they don't. They have a nice running back duo that'll be serviceable for them. But it's not like anything, top in the NFL. It'll be serviceable, and you'll be able to get production out of it. Myron says the video of the cop spitting on the protesters, another racist. Yeah, but the protester's white. You noticed that, right? It wasn't a black protester. It was a white protester they were spitting on. Big O, that father was a bit intimidated. He touches my kid once I put a whoop-ass stick on him. Tommy and Hialeah. There's no doubt I would have been charged with assault myself, because I would have I wanted to beat the living crap out of him when I saw the video. And those aren't my kids. I mean, I was already enraged watching that man. I mean, what kind of a man does that to children? That's disgusting. That you would go out of your way to terrorize children? I mean, come on, man. We've got to be better than that as men. That's disgusting. To me, I found that criminal. That to me was criminal what that guy did to those kids. Absolutely criminal. But instead of that, because I know he won't be serving, a long jail sentence, but a grown man to terrorize kids like that, that just doesn't make any sense. What he needs is a beating, a big-time beating. There's no way you terrorize my kids like that and I just allow you to get away with it. No way. Big O, Chad the intern, hope all is well. Chad, what's up, baby? Chad, you and your band need to make me a rock and roll open. We need to come up with a new open for the show. Since you and the boys can rock, See if we can get 90 Miles from Cuba on the show with an open. That's his band, by the way. Chad's name, for those of you out there, you're wondering, 90 Miles from Cuba. That's the name of the band. It's actually a pretty cool name. We need to draft a stud running back next year. I think they will. I think that's the plan. I think they got guys to kind of get by, and then eventually they will get a stud running back in there. Troy Ortiz says, a cowardly man, Big O. Yeah, you got to kick that guy's ass. Ramona says, why did the 49ers trade Breida if he's such a stud? Watch his highlights. They had 3 running backs, Ramona. So they wanted to keep, they can't keep all 3, so they traded us one of them. And Breida's a nice player, but, if he's a stud, Ramona, you don't get him for a 5th round. He's a good player. He's fast. I love Breida. I love the 1-2 punch of the 2 guys. Let's see. Glad we can agree on something, George. So Troy Ortiz and George are agreeing on something. 90 Miles from Cuba says, we just built a new studio. I'll start trying to put something together. I'll reach out to you off air. Do it, baby. Let's do it. Let's get a new open from 90 Miles from Cuba on the show. Okay? I'll give you the particulars, my man. We'll work that out, and we'll have some fun. Got to get some new opens on the show. We're going to have Tashawn Reed at the top of the hour at 1 o'clock. I'm looking forward to that interview because he had a very interesting interview with Mike Norville, who kind of put himself in a very difficult position. And so we'll talk to him about that. And, he hasn't started to cover the Raiders yet. He just got there. But, we'll bring him on in a couple months when the Dolphins have to take on the Raiders. And I'm hoping that, we progress in this country to the point that we can travel and we could go to Las Vegas in December to see the Raiders. Even if I don't see them in the stadium, we'll watch them from Tommy Rockers, whatever. But we'll gather with a whole bunch of Dolphins over in Vegas and we'll have some fun. Okay? That'll be our first official road trip together. Our second one will be for the draft in Canton. Okay? That we're going to be out there. And remember, the Wednesday before the Thursday of the draft. So for those of you that are going to go out to Canton next year for the draft, or Cleveland, that is. It's in Cleveland, but we're going to go to Canton for the Hall of Fame. But for those of you that are going to go, remember, on the Wednesday before the Thursday day of the draft, on the Wednesday, we are making a field trip to the Hall of Fame, and we're all gathering there, and we're all going to gather around Don Shula's bust, and we're going to sing the Dolphin fight song on Wednesday. Okay? Let's aim for 1 o'clock. Okay? Wednesday, 1 p.m. We all will meet over there at the Hall of Fame and sing the Dolphin fight song. And you know that thing is going to go viral worldwide, everywhere. We'll probably even be on SportsCenter. I'm pretty sure of that, actually. Yeah. Think about it. How many people do that? You know what I mean? A couple hundred fans. Get around Don Shula's bust in the Hall of Fame. We sing the Dolphin fight song. I mean, come on. That's going to be one of the coolest scenes ever that we get to do that. Okay? So remember, Wednesday, 1 p.m., the day before the draft, we are all meeting at the Hall of Fame. Okay? Make sure you all make it out there. I want that place jammed, packed. Okay? All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, that's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to me on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Big O, I just sent you a link about Carl Crawford's domestic violence incident to your email by Jeremiah. Thank you, Jeremiah. Appreciate it. I saw it already. I know what you're talking about. And again, we're we got to finish and wait till they do the investigation and all of that. But yeah, it's a disturbing story, no doubt. How about this? I don't know if you guys saw this. 5 Alabama players tested positive for COVID-19. Did you hear about that, Bill? About the 5 Alabama players?
No, I did not. Wow.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
These are the things that we got to look at, and we got to hope, by the way, that somehow or another they're able to survive all this stuff, because if they don't, as you and I know, it's going to be a lot harder to get this season going in the right direction. Let me read the story for you guys. At least 5 Alabama players have tested positive for COVID-19 after a group workout, according to Simone Eli of CBS 42. The workout included 50 players. They were tested Tuesday, practiced together Wednesday, and received test results today. What is especially concerning is that given that these were not official team workouts, it's difficult to know who attended the workouts each day and if they came into contact with the positive players. The SEC has allowed teams to start voluntary workouts on June 8th, but the large group of players gathered on their own. So this is one of those deals where this is what scares me. You know, and I gave you guys the numbers already. Monday, we were at 730. We have gone over 1,000 now the last 3 days. 1,134, 1,083, and 1,031. So we've gone over the 1,000 mark in deaths the last 3 days. And I don't know what we're pacing right now at this point in time. I'm going to look at it now, and I'll give you the number here. You see? We're at 303 right now at 12:52. Okay? 8,581 cases nationwide. 303 deaths right now. Brazil's at 173. Brazil had 1,400 deaths yesterday. We were at 1,031, and they were at 1,400. Mexico was the other one that was ahead of us. Right now, Mexico's at 816 today. Now, their numbers may have come in early on already. Not Big O, the America's cases come in throughout the whole day. I think by like 9 p.m. or something like that, it closes out, or 8 p.m. or something. They close it out. But again, we've been pacing. And these are things that you see the 5 Alabama players testing positive. Football, man, hockey, basketball. There's a lot of contact in these sports. Soccer. I mean, these guys, it's sweating, spitting, everything all the time. And I got to tell you something. They won't be able to stop spitting. The baseball players, they'll stop doing chew and things like that make them spit. That'll help out. But I'm talking about like football players out on the field and what's it called? Hockey players and all that. And they're spraying water and they're opening their mouths and they're breathing heavy and everything. This is scary, man. I'm hoping that we can get past all of this crap and get our lives back to normal again. It would be nice. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, that's 786-322-1105. For those of you that like a little music, I want to give you a couple of music notes here that you guys can enjoy over the weekend and over the next week. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern, Bill, Alicia Keys will be streaming. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern, Beyonce will be streaming. Not that I like the music, but the sites might be good. That's for sure. Saturday, June 13th at 2 and at 7 p.m., 2 different shows. Next Saturday, June 13th, New Shoes will be streaming. Tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern, Adelita's Way will be jamming tonight at 11 o'clock. These are all their Facebook, YouTube and Facebook pages, okay? Jimmy Buffett will be jamming tomorrow at 8 o'clock. He will be streaming for you parrot heads out there. Let's see what else. Happy birthday to Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden. He is celebrating a birthday today.
Rockin' Rib Stop.
That's right. That's a really good idea. It's a really good idea. Damn, bro. I didn't even think about that. Damn. You want to go tomorrow? I got nothing to do.
Yes, that sounds great.
No, but you know what? I don't want to go in. I want to pick up and go. I want to sit there and eat. I'm not eating at a restaurant, bro. You know what? I'm just not eating at a restaurant.
That's fine.
I'll take out.
We could do that.
You know? Sit in the car and eat. What the hell? Now, you want to trip out? Can I give you guys, well, those of you that are rockers will like this and you'll trip out. I know Bill's going to trip out on this story. Okay? Have you all seen the commercial, the new Geico commercial with Rat, and saying, well, they got a rat problem, and then they go back upstairs and the guys are jamming round and round?
I love the way the woman gets up in the corner and acts like the girl from the video, a rat.
Like a rat, right, exactly. So, Round and Round now has returned to the Billboard Top 20 since its original release back in 1984. Back then, it peaked at number 12. This week, it reached number 18 following the success of the ad spot for the Geico Insurance. We've got a rat problem. What goes around comes around, the band said on Facebook. Rat is back for more on the Billboard Rock Digital Song Sales charts. Round and Round, the band's first hit single from their debut album, Out of the Cellar, in '84, re-enters the charts of 2020. Variety has reported that the ad has aired more than 10,000 times since its debut in April and has been viewed more than 8 million times on YouTube. It's estimated that more than $20 million has been spent on the campaign. There's a really cool grandma that lives next door to us, and she goes for walks. Stephen Percy said, one day I'm out there, and she goes, are you in a commercial? I said, how would you know that? She goes, well, you have a lot of energy. I'm thinking, all right, that's a national commercial means. It's ironic because in 1984, it was the year of the rat in the Chinese calendar, and it's the year of the rat in 2020. What goes around comes around, no pun intended. How about that? So Rat, Round and Round, is back on the charts. How awesome is that? It's nice to see that young people are like, hey, that's good rock and roll. Let's go buy that. Tommy Italian, 305 for life, buddy. Thank you so much on the Super Chat. Fire away. What? Super Chat.
No way.
Yes way. No way. Yes way. They were fantastic.
Super Chat. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Tommy Italian. 305, man, chiming in and giving us some love here on the Super Chat, man. You guys are just absolutely too much chiming in on the Super Chat. And Bill, get ready because we got another Super Chat, man of 1,005 holds.
What's going on in there?
Super Chat.
Excuse me a sec. What are you babbling about?
Super Chat.
If he
Super Chat.
will all
Super Chat.
it'll be anarchy.
It's out of my hands.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, man of 1,005 holds. Got a smiling face. Tommy Italian's got the #1 fan sticker going on. I like it, love it. Appreciate all of you out there, as always, working the Super Chat and giving us some love and supporting us any way that you can.
Sorry, but we need to move on to Tayshaun.
That's right. All right, let's take a really quick break. 1 minute break here. We'll get to Sean Reed on from The Athletic. We're going to talk a little bit about the FSU situation. Not a good one. We do that next.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
We back. All right, we promised you my buddy Tashawn Reed would be kind enough to join us now. We're all jealous because Tashawn has just moved to Las Vegas, baby, from Tallahassee.
And
to
it's
Las
open.
Vegas.
It's open.
That's right. Follow him on Twitter at Tashawn Reed. Tashawn, how you doing, my man?
Good, man. It might be open out here, but I'm not open. I'm staying in the house, man. I ain't risking it, man.
No, I was just telling my buddy we were talking about going to a restaurant. I go, but I'm not going into the restaurant. I'll order takeout, but I'm not sitting in a restaurant because right now I'm not ready to go to concerts, which I live in concerts. I'm not ready to go to a restaurant. I'm not ready to go to places where there's a whole bunch of people, dude. Right now, I'm gonna still use my social distancing talents to kind of stay alive for the time being, or at least try to stay alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I didn't miss people that much. I'm cool sitting in my apartment. When I go out, I'm still wearing a mask, gloves. Like I'm not playing around with it, man. It's just not worth it right now.
No, I'm with you there. And Tashawn, of course, has been covering the Seminoles for the last couple of years for The Athletic. He has now moved over to the Raiders, which I told him we'll see him in December when we go out there and pile in, and whether we could go to the game or we'll watch it at Tommy Rockers. Either way, we'll be out there during that week over in Vegas. So first of all, your story. You wrote a story that was kind of, a normal story. You didn't think it was going to be anything big. when coach tells you, yeah, I've talked to all the players individually and collectively, you kind of assumed everything's normal. At what point did you, at what moment did you say, oh my God, this thing has exploded?
Yeah, actually, I mean, the interview that we had is a part of we do a series called State of the Program at The Athletic, where we basically do a season preview for every college football team. But, in the conversation, I ended up making a decision, okay, I was going to make a separate story, just kind of, updating how has Florida State stayed in touch with its players throughout the pandemic, how they've been recruiting, how are they responding to everything going on with the death of George Floyd. And I was going to write that as a separate story on Friday. So on Tuesday, when I tweeted out the quote, the story wasn't even published yet. I was writing it, but it wasn't done. I just wanted to share that quote because I thought it was particularly commendable that, college football coach would do that with every single one of his players, especially given how slow college football has been to acknowledge what's been going on in the country right now. And so I just shared the quote kind of, that almost just giving public kudos. And I didn't really think anything of it. I mean, it spread around, but it wasn't going crazy. And then I think it was Wednesday night, I get a text. It was like, you see Marvin Wilson? I'm like, no, what about Marvin Wilson? And I get on Twitter, and then at this point, it already has thousands of retweets and likes. I'm like, what the hell? I was confused. I didn't understand what was going on. And then as I read his message and the follow-up messages, I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I had no idea that there was any sort of inaccuracies with the quote, because I just posted the full quote. It was all Norvell's words. It wasn't like I filled in the blanks or anything like that. And so at first I thought he might have been saying I was lying about having the quote, but then I quickly realized he's saying, oh no, Norvell didn't actually do this.
Right. And so let me ask you, then at that moment, you see this go on, and so now your story's taking a completely different turn at this point, right?
Right. Yeah, I pretty much had to scrap the original story I was planning to do, of course, with kind of how it broke out. I hopped on the phone with our national team pretty early that morning, Thursday, and started coordinating how we were going to cover it. In the end, I ended up deciding to basically write a piece last night, just explaining even how the quote came about, where the miscommunication may have come, and just my thoughts and feelings on it, just in kind of a digestible format for anybody who had maybe seen the details piecemeal, but didn't really know the full scope of what was happening. And, like I said, I didn't expect it. It wasn't something that I intended to do. I didn't want that to blow up that way. I didn't have any sort of ill intent or reason to doubt the quote. But, once it happened, of course, a lot of people on Twitter, questioned my integrity as a journalist, and whether the quote was accurate. Do you have audio? Why would you twist his words? And that was the funniest part, because it's a quote. It's not there's no twisting. He said it. And finally, once they put out a statement, Norvell, that all kind of died down. But even after that, I just felt the need to sort of explain myself, even though I don't really think I needed to. I just wanted to do it just to kind of clear the air.
It was pissing me off, Tashawn. I got to say, dude, because I know you, and I know you got integrity. I know you do the job. I know you would never do that. And to me, considering what's going on right now, and since we're trying to bring it all to the forefront, I just felt racist undertones with this. As I hate to say it, but if you were white, I don't think you would have been questioned this harshly at times on social media. And this is kind of part of a little bit of it. It almost reminded me a slice of what we're going through right now. Am I off at all here? Or did you?
Yeah, I don't.
Too, as a black man, because I kind of felt it, and I'm a white Cuban dude, so it's
yeah.
I'm not in your shoes. Never been in your shoes. I don't know what we think of is. Oh my God, my insurance rate is going to go up. Seriously.
Yeah.
No, seriously, you know that, and it's like that never happens to a black person. That thought, right. They never even think about their insurance. They're thinking about, what do I have to do to try to make sure I don't instigate anything here and die at this moment. You know what I mean? I never have thought about dying. Every time I've ever gotten pulled over, I'm like, damn it, my insurance rate. And, it's a different world for the white person and the black person. And to me,
Right.
when I saw you going through this last 24 hours, it was pissing me off. I wanted to go after them for you. You know what I mean? And so I'm wondering what you were thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's something it's kind of always there. I mean, from the entire time that I've been a quote-unquote journalist, and I guess I would mark that as when I went, started college at Mizzou in 2014. People that don't know, I was born and raised in Ferguson, Missouri. And about 2 weeks before I started college, that's when Michael Brown got shot. I went to high school with Michael Brown. I lived in that community. And so pretty much from the moment I decided to be a journalist, I've been sort of swept up in this movement and kind of conflicted in how do I balance being a black man and being a quote unquote objective journalist, And so this movement and everything that you're seeing now has always kind of been weaved into my work in a sense. And then even my sophomore year at Mizzou, there was protests. And then later on in my career and then early on at Florida State, when I started professionally, I know some people didn't always agree. Some of my takes on Willie Taggart and some of the suggestions I made that race may be a factor with that situation. It's just always been a thing throughout my career, and it's not any different now. And, there's always going to be that group of people that try to discredit you as a result of that or say, hey, keep this out, just talk about sports, don't talk about life. And it's like, no. My stance has always been just no. I'm not going to do, for one, what you tell me to do, and I'm not going to just ignore what's going on in the world, especially for people that look like me.
Right.
And so I do think that it was a little bit of that. I mean, I can't really tell if somebody's a racist through Twitter unless they're just outwardly, shouting racial slurs and whatnot.
Right.
But I do think I get treated differently as a result, but I think it's something that, kind of speaking for black journalists in general, is something that we kind of accept. We know it's going to happen. And so when it does happen, we're not shocked by it. We're kind of used to it. It shouldn't be that way, but I know how to navigate it. I don't really let it bother me. Anything that was going on the last 2 days, I didn't really care. Even though I replied to some of it, it was just to sort of set people straight. It wasn't because I was angry. Honestly, my coworkers and my friends and people like yourself, y'all, I think, were more angry than I was. Yeah. I don't really take it personally at this level. I just kind of let it roll off.
Yeah, listen, I've been at this for 30 years, Tashawn, so I know how some fans are. One guy wrote, well, Tashawn doesn't like the program, so I could see him writing the wrong quote and all that. And it's I retweeted back to him. I said, you're just a butthurt fan that can't handle the truth about the program. I mean, because unfortunately, the FSU program's been a disaster the last couple of years. What else is there to write? It's look, I love what the Dolphins have done in the last calendar year. I wanted the hiring of Chris Grier. I wrote on The Athletic 2 years ago, fire Tannenbaum and Gase and put Chris Grier in place. And that's exactly what they did. So I but for 20 years, Tashawn, I've been ripping the Dolphins because all they do is stupid ass things. And so I would get some Dolphins that were just butthurt about it. And it's oh, you hate the team. No, moron. I don't hate the team. I'm born and raised here. I love the team, but I have to call it like I see it. If they're not good, they're not good. And if they're doing stupid things, look at the results. You know what I mean? And look at the results of FSU over the last couple of years. There's nothing else to write about except what they are, unfortunately. So the question I have for you now is, where does Mike Norvell go from here? Because all the right things were said publicly, but behind the scenes, I don't know how a black athlete can trust the guy now because of kind of the phony statements.
Yeah, and he already it was already going to be difficult to build trust because it wasn't his fault necessarily, but just everything that's going on with the program in the last 3 years. I mean, you have 3 different head coaches, all this turmoil, all this change, some players on their 3rd head coach, they're not wanting to trust you anyway. Even if you're great, you never make a mistake, they're already probably going to be hesitant to trust you. And so when you have something like this happen before you even play a game, it's difficult. But I will say that I believe he handled it the right way. I mean, he owned it. In that statement, he didn't try to make excuses or put it on the players or anything of that nature. And that's, really the only option. But a lot of people don't take it. It's the right thing to do, but a lot of people still wouldn't do it. And so I think the players respected that. I do think they legitimately reconciled. I mean, they worked out yesterday, so obviously that boycott didn't happen. I do think it's going to be harder. I mean, any trust that was built, for the guys that felt a certain way about it, it's going to be gone for them. but it doesn't mean it can't be rebuilt. It's going to be much more difficult to do so. So I don't think it's over with for Norvell at Florida State by any means, especially for players who, are just getting there, maybe the freshmen who were recruited by him, and, the future players to come eventually, this will phase out of the program. But I think with this first year, he was already going to have some issues with that just because of all the turnover within the program. But this will, if something else comes up, something unrelated to this, then guys can be like, well, that happened, so I don't know. And so that's something that he's going to have to be mindful of. But given how he handled it, I think he understands that, and I don't really expect a repeat of this.
Athletic writer Tashawn Reed joining us. He's been covering the Seminoles for the last couple of years, and he just left the beat, and he is now in Las Vegas to cover the Raiders. Marvin Wilson, what do you know about the meeting with Norvell and Marvin Wilson? How did that go? Because, Tashawn, this has got to be the guy that he needs to connect and fix everything. If I'm correct, I mean, you know it better than I do. Marvin's probably the best player on that team, right? The leader. So that's the guy. You need to make sure that relationship is impeccable, because you need him going back into that locker room telling him, "Hey guys, we can follow the coach. He's fine." So how is that relationship between those two?
Well, the meeting yesterday morning was a team-wide meeting, so it wasn't just Norvell and Marvin. Obviously, Marvin was included. He did directly address Marvin, and it was discussed in the situation, and he was very transparent about everything and owned up to it and apologized to the team, before he ever made that public statement. And I think that's why you saw, that video from Marvin come out before Norvell had even, publicly apologized, sort of letting everybody know that everything was good. And you've seen players come out. I think Cam McDonald, he's a junior tight end. He put out a lengthy statement that was very well written about, everything that they were feeling as a group of players. And he's somebody that's been there for a while. And so I think it's something that I think they'll be fine, as long as it's not the thing that happens again. I think that's like the one, I guess, get out of jail free card has been used. Like you can't have this happen again. And so I think as long as that's the case, and, everything that he said is actually backed up by action, I don't think that they'll have any kind of issue with players or anything else going on in the locker room.
Yeah, one more thing before we wrap it up here, talking about FSU. When he's going to have to win too, right? Because that's kind of half the thing. Like, they can forgive you, and I know how players are. They can be forgiving to a certain extent, and it'll help you if you're teaching them and if the results are wins. But if they struggle and there's a lot of losing, this kind of stuff will fester. This kind of stuff will linger. If he's teaching them how to get better and how to win, and they're all improving their draft stock and all that other stuff that's important to them, then this kind of stuff can be put away and done with. But I think he's going to have to also show he can coach. That's going to be the other half, correct?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're already asking a lot of the players, like I said earlier, trusting yet another head coach and an entire coaching staff and a position coach. Some of these guys is their fourth position coach or fourth coordinator that they've had. And I mean, you can't, the only way to justify having a player go through that with all, how all these promises go through in recruiting. I'm always going to be here. Everything's going to be, it's going to be stable, yada, yada. And for very few of these guys, that hasn't been the case, I mean, that hasn't been stuck to. And so if you have to go through all that and you still don't win, it's like, well, what was the point of this? Why do we have to go through this? And so you're absolutely right. I mean, what level of winning that is, I can't say. I guess it's kind of up to the player and what they envision when they decide to come to Florida State. And I think that's even beyond players. I mean, you have boosters and fans in general. I mean, you're spending in excess of $20 million for this coaching change. I mean, you want some results, right? So, I mean, we know how college football is, and people are going to be expecting that, this year, even with everything that's been going on in the world, this pandemic and the protests and everything, like, people are going to want immediate results. And so the pressure's there for sure.
No doubt. Of course, Tashawn Reed joining us. Tashawn, I appreciate you taking some time, my man. I know it's been a hell of a situation for you the last 48 hours going through all of this. And you're moving and going to Vegas. So all you got to do now is chase down Henry Ruggs and find out how serious that thigh injury is, okay?
Man, that news hit when I was driving through the mountains in the rain. I'm glad I have a beat partner, Vic Tafer. I'm so glad.
Yeah, Vic's a good dude, bro. Vic's a really good dude. I've had him on my show many, many times. He's a really good dude. So you guys are gonna be all over it, man. Tashawn, enjoy yourself, my man. I'll see you in December. We'll be out there to catch the Dolphins and the Raiders, my friend. We'll go out for a drink. All right?
Thanks, man. I'll see you then.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go. Tashawn Reed, baby, from The Athletic. Love it. And he is now covering the Raiders. The Raiders, yes. The Raiders. We're going to kick the Raiders' ass later on in the year. By that time, the Dolphins, hopefully no COVID. They're still on the field, and they're kicking ass, all that good stuff. I couldn't get into any Raiders talk with him because he just got there. It's unfair to him. He's not even set for all that stuff. Michelle Kaufman will join us at the bottom of the hour. We will have a little fun with Michelle, and we'll talk all things Inter Miami with her. How about this? Did you guys see the story about Jake Fromm? That one is okay. So Jake Fromm apologizes for a text he sent. And here's how it goes. Brian Dable, by the way, spoke with Fromm about his status with the team, saying he knows that he has a lot of work to do to earn the trust of his teammates back. I'm a big believer in actions speak louder than words, so I know he'll be committed to that. We have a strong leadership group, a strong culture in our room. Jake is a young man who has apologized. Where we go moving forward, he's got a lot to earn the trust and confidence of the players and everyone else in the building back. I know he'll work hard to do that. Okay? Now, Jake Fromm had a text when a couple years ago where he tweeted out Jake was owning up to a text message about elite white people that were made public last week, apologizing for the comments and vowing that he'll fight racism. The text exchange was from March of 2019, so it was just last year. Fromm saying guns are good, adding just make them very expensive so only elite white people can get them. Ha ha. Now he goes on to say, I'm extremely sorry that I chose to use the words elite white people in a text message. Although I never meant to imply that I am an elite white person, as stated later in the conversation, there's no excuse for the word choice and sentiment. While it was poor, my heart is not. Now more than ever, it is time for support and togetherness, and I stand against racism 100%. See, the problem is, man, that I can't believe you, bro. I can't believe you. And what is it with the Bills drafting quarterbacks that say racist things? Because Jared Allen did the same, or was it? It's not Jared Allen. What is it, Allen? What Allen is that guy? I forgot now. What the hell is that Allen in Buffalo? Whatever. Well, that kid remember he did the whole, I was repeating lyrics of a rap song and all that stuff. And now you got Fromm doing it last year. And to me, you know what what Jake Fromm needs to understand, what racist people need to understand, okay, is that you can't tell somebody, I'm sorry, I am no longer racist. What I said, that's not me. Well, then why did you say it in the first place? What did you mean by elite white people? And I don't care if you classify yourself as an elite white person or not. You use the color reference. That's all that matters to me. Who gives a rat's ass if you're poor and white, middle class and white, rich and white, elite and white? I don't care. You use white. Because that's what's going through your mind and through your heart. Because it's not something I thought of at his age. Oh, I'm sorry. I tell you guys this all the time on the show. Sorry doesn't cut it for everything. Okay? Hey, Bill, I'm sorry, dude. I forgot your sweet tea. I didn't get your sweet tea at Chick-fil-A. Okay. But I'm sorry because I called you the N-word. I'm sorry because I said elite white people. I'm sorry. No, man, that doesn't fly. That doesn't fly. The man that assaulted those 3 children, there's no apology for that. There's no I'm sorry. We are too comfortable, and we have given people the comfort zone that sorry covers everything, and it doesn't. And nobody in the black community at all should accept an apology from Jake Fromm. Drew Brees is completely different than Jake Fromm. Drew Brees wasn't saying anything derogatory. He had an insensitive point of view. He did not take a group of people's feelings into account. That's where he failed as a human being. And he realized that, and he apologized over and over and over again. What Jake Fromm spewed is different. That's spewing hate. And you just don't say, I'm sorry with that. It just doesn't happen. You don't beat a woman and then say, oh, honey, I'm sorry. It doesn't work. It doesn't fly. We have this thing in our world that we just give people the right that they can just overcome some of these terrible, terrible, terrible decisions. And it's, but I said, I'm sorry. It takes a lot more than that, man. That's why I believe that Drew Brees will say, I'm sorry, now twice. He won't stop saying he's sorry, and then he'll follow it up with incredible actions. Mark my words. That's for sure. That's that because that's how that dude's made. I think he's a good dude. I don't want to roast Drew Brees. I definitely want to say, hey, you screwed up, dude. You said the wrong thing. You didn't take people's, feelings into account. You didn't really look at what's going on. And now he has checked himself after he wrecked himself. And I give him credit. But Jake Fromm? No, bro. No. Sorry just doesn't fly. I now stand with the black community. I'm against racism. But meanwhile, a year ago, you're saying elite white people should be buying guns. That just doesn't fly. Super Boom Shack dropping a super boom on the super chat. Boom.
I know that, dude. Where'd you get this?
Super chats.
Oh, gnarly. Awesome. Totally awesome.
Super Boom Shack puts on the super chat. I'm sitting on my balcony enjoying a double Corona cigar and breathing the fresh COVID air. Thanks, Big O. Well, I hope you're not breathing any COVID air. The good thing is, Super Boom Shack, where I'm really proud of you, okay, and I don't mean to pick on any cigar bar anywhere in this world, okay? I want them all to thrive and survive and all of that. But at the moment, it's not the time to go to a cigar bar. Yeah, I don't know. So Super Boom Shack, enjoy that cigar on your balcony. Best place to do it. If I'm going to enjoy one, it'll be in my backyard. I'm not ready to go to a restaurant. I'm not ready to go to a movie theater. I'm not ready to go to a concert. I'm not ready to go to a cigar bar. I am just not ready to be with any kind of crowd whatsoever. And I'm good with that. Okay? Got to do it. But Super Boom Shack, thank you, sir. That was amazing on your part. Appreciate you for chiming in and supporting us. All right, let's take a quick break here. Do remind you that VSS West Pines, they are open, man. You can walk in, check it out. I tell you, where Spencer's and Barefoot Mailman meets CBD, that's VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road. We were there this Wednesday. We'll be there next Wednesday. Go out there if you need anything for CBD, for anxiety, for stress, pain, for yourself, for your pets, dogs, cats. It calms them down. It works really well, too. You got to check it out for yourself. Plus all the other things that they sell there, from papers to water pipes to hookahs from $19.99 and up, and all kinds of other items that are just going to trip you out, man. If you need e-juice, they've got it there for you. They got the disposable ones, the 2-packs, all of that. Get on down there, 12397 Pembroke Road. It's VSSWestPines.com. Let's take a break. When we come back, Michelle Kaufman will join us from the Miami Herald. We'll talk a little Inter Miami with her next.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
All righty, welcome back. We take you here.
Oh,
we're going to talk with Michelle Kaufman here from the Miami Herald. If you want to follow her, you can follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. You can catch her work at the Miami Herald website. Let's bring her aboard. Michelle.
The other thing is Sophie needs her shoes.
Good afternoon, Michelle.
Hey, how are you?
Very good. Very good, Michelle. How you doing? You doing all right? You hanging in there? You busy?
Hanging in there, yeah. I'm busy. I'm writing stories that, sports are actually they're resuming to resume. So I have something to write about.
Okay, good. That's excellent. So what are the new developments now with the MLS? What's going to happen here with the teams practicing, start dates, all that stuff? What do we know?
Yeah. Well, MLS, it is officially official that the commissioner came out the day before yesterday and said that, they reached a revised collective bargaining agreement with the players, which includes a detailed plan for return to play, which is going to be a tournament in Orlando. The exact opening date and a few of the details are still being worked out, but what I've heard is that they will report like the week of June 24th. All 26 teams report to Orlando. all staying in one all-inclusive resort. They'll play at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. It'll be a World Cup-style tournament with 3 group games and then a 16-team knockout round. The teams that don't make the knockout round go home. Also, the league yesterday lifted the moratorium on full team training, full squad training. So they had been told that they could do small group training, but now teams are allowed to do, by the league, full squad training as long as it complies as the plan. Each team devises a plan, submits the plan, and if it complies with all of the league rules and the local government and health authorities, then teams are starting today allowed to have full team practices on their fields as long as they comply with everything. And clubs that are able to hold their own full practices and do the required COVID testing that's going to be required for the Orlando tournament will be allowed to stay in their home markets for 1 extra week and report to Orlando 1 week later. Teams that can't provide the testing and or the practices in full squad will have to go to Orlando first and have that 1 extra week. Everyone is going to be...
Wait a minute. So the budget of different teams matters here on how they protect their players? Is that
not the budget? It's based on availability of ability to do testing, and the field thing is just about does your city allow you to have 23 guys on a field together practicing soccer?
Okay, but the part of the testing, wouldn't it be the league that purchased all the tests for everybody?
No, they're not. The league is gonna provide all the testing in Orlando. But if a team wants to provide their own testing, as long as it's at the same level of the testing they're going to be doing in Orlando, they're allowing those teams to stay in their home market.
Okay. All right. Okay. So if you stay in your home market, then you will have to then take on the expense of all the testing. I see.
Yeah. If your team wants to stay in if you want to stay in your home market 1 extra week, then you can do that, but you have to provide testing, the same testing that the guys will be doing in Orlando.
What do you know what Miami's going to do?
No, I don't know what they're going to do, but I know that they've been so far. Miami was one of the first 4 teams to begin individual training. They were one of the first teams to start small group training, so they've been ahead. They've been ahead of the group on, so far of the 2 phases so far, and I'm assuming that, they're going to start full team training as soon as they get the clearance to do it. They have huge fields, huge facilities, availability. I assume that they're going to start full team training pretty soon. And they seem to me a team that if the players, if they want to spend 1 more week at home, I think they'll be a team that does. But at the end of the day, they're all going to be there, all 26 teams. And from what I understand, the maximum number of days that they can be there is 35 based on the new collective bargaining agreement. The Orlando portion of the season is maximum 35 days, which if they were to report on June 24th, that would mean that on July 29th, they would leave. And then the NBA is coming in on July 31st. So basically, ESPN Wide World of Sports will host the MLS through the entire month of July. And then the NBA will come as soon as the MLS guys check out. The NBA guys will check in.
That's really, really interesting. And Michelle, do we know how many games the season is?
Oh, they want to play a full season. Right now, their plan is still to play 34 games full season. This tournament in Orlando is basically to get everybody up and running again.
Right.
It's a made-for-TV event. It's also a great opportunity for MLS to position itself as the first and only live sporting that's going to be going on in the month of July. So as long as the NBA is behind them and Major League Baseball is behind also, in the month of July, starting, July 2nd, July 3rd, July 4th, whatever, MLS will be the only team, only professional league, major professional league that's playing. So, for a league that is continues to desperately try to become more and more relevant in the American sports landscape, they know that fans around the country are craving live sports, even if it's a, made for TV golf event, whatever it is. People are craving live sports, and MLS is positioning itself to be the very first big pro league that's going to be on TV. So when you turn on ESPN and Univision, you're going to see MLS through the month of July. So, it's a chance for them to not have any competition and play 1 month of games in a round-robin type World Cup format, which people like. It's not just like continuing their regular season games that don't lead or culminate in anything, right away. It's a chance to get people kind of sucked into a tournament format for that month. And then their hope is that in August, when they return to their home markets, they will have gotten a boost from being on national TV in July, and then they will continue to play their games. They're saying, well into December. Like the MLS Cup, will likely not be before December.
Yeah, it's and interesting because it looks to me, and I've already predicted this, that in 2030 the MLS will pass Major League Baseball, and we're watching baseball screw itself again. They're haggling over everything, and the MLS is slowly but surely doing everything right and growing like crazy in this country. And by 2030, all these young people that have been watching and following soccer will be on board, and a lot of young people will not be watching baseball. And this is an interesting offseason here, because if baseball ends up screwing it up and no season, and the MLS is out there, like you said, by itself abusing July and taking advantage of everything, this is a nice jump for them to get ahead on the curve. And this is another reason why soccer is growing in this country, man. They get it and they connect, where baseball is not connecting with the public. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it was really, really imperative. It was very, very important to MLS leadership and players to get back out there and to get into the people's, to get back on the radar, and especially in a time when no other sports are going on. It's a great opportunity for them from a PR standpoint. If they do it right, if they produce the games well and make them entertaining, and it's a, knockout round, 3 games, and then a knockout round. Everybody can understand that. Everybody likes that system. Everyone knows how the World Cup works. I think that, it's a great opportunity for MLS, if they do it right, to grow their fan base and to get eyeballs on their sport, people who normally wouldn't be watching. But if that's all that's on, and you start watching and you get sucked in, you start following your local team, the people in Miami, that they don't have any other teams to watch right now, and the Heat isn't starting up again until July 31st, then in the month of July, you've got Inter Miami. That's your team. And if you live in Atlanta, if you live in Kansas City, wherever you live, you're going to start following your team in this MLS tournament. It's a great opportunity for the league, like you said, to take advantage of a horrible situation that we're all in and try to parlay it into getting some more fans. And that's why, they were squabbling also with the union, with the Players Association. They had some issues. But at the end of the day, the players, the league started off talking about a 50% pay cut for many of their players. Then they dropped it to 20. Then they dropped it to 10. It turned out that the players are going to be giving a 5% pay cut. So, the league made major concessions. The players also made some concessions. But at the end of the day, over this past weekend, they spent countless hours trying to work out the last few things. One was a force majeure clause in their contract, which I know is a big thing now with all the leagues. What happens when there is a catastrophe or a pandemic like there is now? What is going to happen to salaries? What's going to happen to other economic issues? So that's one thing they were, going down to the wire over that, and over how much of a pay cut would the players have to take, how much of the broadcast fees in 2023 were the players going to give up, because the players for the first time are going to get a portion of the broadcast fees starting in 2023, and they were going to get 25%. They dropped it to 12.5% for that season, but then after that, they'll go back up to 25%. So, they negotiated, both sides compromised. It got very heated. From what I understand, there were definitely heated conversations and arguments and everything between the union and the and the league leadership. But at the end of the day, on Thursday, no, today's Thursday, Wednesday, whatever, they came to, they came to a compromise, and they're going to be able to start up their league first. And I think that was really important to them, to be the first league to come back. They can honestly say, we are the first major sports league that's coming back, and we're going to start up end of June, and you're going to see games in July, and they're not going to have any competition. There will be nothing else. They will have no competition.
Smart. It's just absolutely smart that they're able to do that. So do you know about your access at all yet? Do they know if you're going to be covering, or is it all going to be virtual for you?
No, I think they're going to allow media to go for games, not for the training, because there's really nothing to see for the training. I think we will be allowed to go to cover the games. I have to get special permission, though, actually, right now at the Miami Herald. We're not even working within the newsroom. We're all working remotely.
Right.
So if you have any travel that you need to do for an assignment, there's a whole special thing you have to do now. You have to get permission from the company to allow you to travel. You have to make a proposal, explain what it is you're covering, explain why it's important for you to be there in person. And and then if the company gives me permission, then I do plan to go and cover at least, the beginning. I would say maybe their first couple games, just to see it, experience it, and describe what it's like for them.
That's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's great to get soccer back. What else do we know? Any other nuggets? Any international players could be added? What do we hear?
No, they said that the transfer windows right now are completely in flux. Everything is changing because of everything that's gone on. So I don't really think anything is happening on that front right now. I will tell you, switching gears, I spoke to Coach Larinaga. UM basketball is one of my other beats. And the fact that there's no sports has made it very difficult for recruiting in college basketball, because normally this time of year, AAU basketball is huge, and summer leagues and all that stuff. And right now, all of that is on hold. So college coaches, which normally in the month, of April and this time of year, they're focusing on watching prospective players in summer leagues. Right now, there are no summer leagues. So it's really, really changing the face of recruiting, which is another story that I'm working on.
Interesting. All right. Well, looking forward to it. I can't wait to get the MLS season back on track. We're going to be really active during the MLS season. I'm looking forward. I don't even know what I'm going to do, if we're going to be broadcasting the games from the stadium, or we're actually going to have our people there. I haven't even heard that myself yet. So,
yeah. Well, they're going to announce in the next, I would say by Monday, probably, we're going to get the full, the details of the Orlando tournament. And once that comes out, and it, with schedule of games and that kind of thing, then we can really start making our plans.
Can't wait. Follow her on Twitter so you can get the latest on your Inter Miami squad at Koff Sports. Michelle, as always, you are awesome. Stay safe this weekend and keep grinding away. Be good.
All right, thanks. Take care.
There you
All
go.
right, bye.
The great Michelle Kaufman. There we go. All right. Bill took off, so I got to turn off the phone myself. So I had to do a little producing myself. Tommy in Hialeah, thank you, sir. You are super chatting for us. And Tommy says, see you in Cleveland. Tommy in Hialeah, I'm looking forward to it, Tommy. I know you'll be there, dude. You're as hardcore as they get. Tommy in Hialeah is one of the great Dolph fans out there, man. He travels like crazy. Tommy in Hialeah has been calling me on road games for like 15 years, maybe more than that. I don't know, but it's been a while, man. Robert Triana chiming in on this super chat. Robert, thank you, sir. He says, what's up, Big O? Much respect. See you soon. Si Dios quiere. Take care. We will, Robert. We will definitely see each other. We will hang out. We will have a cold one. We will enjoy. And remember, get out to Cleveland next year for the draft. That's the two trips that we got coming up. We got to go to Vegas together for Dolphins and Raiders, okay? and then we've got to go for the draft in Cleveland. That's it. Those are our 2 trips. Before the draft, we'll have the East-West Shrine and the Senior Bowl and the Combine. So all of those, if any of you are going to go to any of those events, we can definitely meet up there, as they say. Drubo says, Finns really took attention away with them drafting Tua and all of our picks in the draft. I will watch the Interclub. There you go. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch that Interclub grow. Super Boom Shack says, Europe Final Countdown has a surge a couple of years ago when they did a commercial. Okay, I think you're talking about something else. Boom Shack says, Metallica lost something after And Justice for All. All right, Drubo says, and all that complaining about copyright crap, but they still rock. All right, you guys are all talking about something else. King Short says, Bill taking a breathing treatment? Yes, he's taking a breathing treatment. He is back now with us. Okay? And Bill, Tommy, and Hialeah, and Robert Triana came in on some super chat while you were gone. So give them a little super chat love there for Tommy and Hialeah and for Robert Triana for giving us super chat.
No way.
Yes way. No way. Yes way.
They were fantastic.
Super chat. All right. Anyway, so we are back, and thank you, Robert. Thank you, Tommy and Hialeah, with a little super chat love. You guys are absolutely awesome. Dougie Fresh says, Bill is eating Vicks Vapor Rub for lunch. Wow, even the sound of that is nasty. I can't imagine putting a scoop of Vicks Vapor Rub in my mouth. Oh, damn, that's just a nasty thought. Oh. Let me get back on track here. All right. Brian Flores yesterday addressed the media for the Miami Dolphins. And obviously with everything that went on with George Floyd, there's a lot of heavy hearts right now going on in this country. And there's a lot of passion going on in this country. Coach Flores was asked about his thoughts on what's going on nationally. Let's hear from Brian Flores.
What happened was, in a lot of ways, a tragedy. And for me right now, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of anger, a lot of emotion, a lot of emotions. But for me, I just want to make sure that the spotlight is on George Floyd and the horrible murder that occurred. We focus on George Floyd, his family, and justice for the Floyd family.
Now, just like Drew Brees, Brian Flores didn't handle it right either. Doesn't make Brian Flores a bad man. Remember the Kenny Stills thing? He took out the Jay-Z songs. He didn't like it either. He didn't like the distraction. And as a black man, that probably was even worse for Kenny Stills. If it's Drew Brees, he can understand, not agree, but he can. See, every black person can understand if there's a white person that doesn't understand because they're not black. So you really don't know what it's like to walk in the shoes. Like I told you, we all have to take a moment and walk in somebody else's shoes. If you got a Jewish friend that deals with anti-Semitism, walk in his or her shoes. Somebody, one of your family members, a friend of yours is gay, and they've got to deal with bias, think about putting yourself in their shoes. And so a lot of people don't do that. And so when Drew Brees said what he said, he didn't really think about the black community at that moment. He was just thinking solely about the flag and what it stood for him. But what he doesn't realize is that that flag stands for all. And it's supposed to serve and protect all. And that's what the black community is telling you when they're protesting. That it's not serving and protecting all. And Drew Brees was not actually sympathetic to that plight. Well, in a way, Brian Flores was not sympathetic either. He was thinking too much. See, it doesn't make Brian Flores a bad guy, neither does Drew Brees. Drew Brees was thinking about his definition of the flag and his forefathers fighting for it, right? But they were fighting for people to stand up for themselves, like the black community is doing it. Coach Flores was being insensitive to his own community and to Kenny Stills by playing the Jay-Z music because it had nothing to do with race. Just like Drew Brees, has nothing to do with race. Take the race equation out. It was a bad point of view. Drew Brees had a terrible point of view the way he was looking at things. He wasn't looking at it as an American. He was only looking at it as a white American. Guess what Brian Flores' crime was? He was looking at it like a coach. Oh, it's distractions. And it is. It's a distraction. But you got to deal with it, dude. And it's also a right of an American. So he wasn't supportive of Kenny Stills like he should have been. And even more than Drew Brees, because he's supposed to understand. Again, doesn't make Brian Flores a bad man. Doesn't make Drew Brees a bad man. It had nothing to do with race. Just had the wrong point of view. One guy was focused on distractions, and the other guy had a different definition of what it meant to him. And he didn't understand that there's more. That definition needs to expand in his mind. And now it's expanding for Drew Brees. And as for Brian Flores, maybe this is something, it wasn't used in the press conference, but that's something that should have been followed up in the press conference. That in a way, hey, coach, were there any regrets with the way you handled the Kenny Stills situation? Because you kind of stuck it in his face, the Jay-Z stuff. And that's not what you should have done at that moment. None of us are perfect. Okay? Understand that. We all make mistakes. And what Drew and what Brian Flores did are very correctable mistakes. Okay? That comes with understanding. Neither one was coming from a malicious point. They had their selfish points, is what they were doing. Brian Flores goes on to talk about racism. Obviously not an easy subject to address. Bill, let's play Brian Flores addressing racism.
I think race is a tough subject for a lot of people, but I think it's something that, I think a lot of people are seeing that it's something that we need to kind of confront head on and communicate and have discussions. And I think it was an opportunity to speak on that. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the Rooney Rule and the adjustments that were made over the last week. And, with the events that are going on now, I just felt like it was an opportunity to speak and talk about those and have those conversations because they're important. And, in order to try to bring people together, I think communication is vital.
He had to do a little more of that with Kenny Stills. And maybe that's, part of the learning process of being a head coach. And now that you've got to connect with players on a continual basis, this is going to be part of his challenge, and it's been part of his personal challenge all his life, obviously, because he had to deal with it as a black man. He's got a hell of a lot more experience than you and I, that's for damn sure. But, he's got to get better, too, at communicating himself. Here's Brian Flores talking about the kind of guidance that he is providing to players. Bill, let's play the next one for Brian.
My number one thing for guys is they have a right to protest, and I support, their right to protest. But even more than that, it's about being careful. I want my players to be careful. I actually had a friend who was murdered in Indianapolis. His name is Chris Beatty, a good friend. He actually played football with Lance Bennett, who was on our staff. Beatty was full of life. He was a great human being, and he was protesting in Indianapolis, and he was murdered last weekend. So, when I guess to me that was the first thing that kind of came to mind when Kayvon was protesting. And look, I've had a lot of conversations with players over the last few days, and I support, I support these guys. And I understand, the emotions, that they're going through, but at the same time, I want them to be smart. I care about each one of these guys, and I had a situation hit home pretty closely for me, and so there's some fear on my end, to be honest with you. But I might as well take this time to send condolences to Beaty's family and his friends in Indianapolis. I mean, this guy was just an incredible human being, and it's sad. That's just another tragedy that we're dealing with. Hopefully, we can learn from it and again make the necessary changes so that these things don't happen again.
And it'll be interesting to see because he is going to have a lot of players kneel this year. So now he will get a second chance at having to deal with this. But now because of everything that's hit home, and you just heard it in that soundbite, even a friend of his cost his life. He lost a friend of his who was protesting. So all of this will hit home. It'll be interesting to see how he handles it in this go-around. Because I guess we all have got to get past the distraction part of it and get to embracing the protest itself. Okay? Now, more than kneeling has got to be done. We've got to weed out the bad people. You know what I mean? And especially in police departments all over. Now, the question that a lot of people wanted to find out as Dolphin fans, we get to some football talk now. They want to find out about Tua. Where is Tua at this point? Coach Flores addresses the quarterback.
The rookies in general, I think they've all, based on what we can do, I think they've all done a good job. They're all in meetings. They're all learning. They're all doing everything they can possibly do to pick up the information, to train. But, quite honestly, it's hard not to have your hands on them. Specific to Tua, he's working hard. He's picking up the information. You want to get your hands on him, quite honestly. So I think they're all doing a good job. I think they all have a long way to go. But again, specific to the injury, I haven't seen them. Our doctors haven't seen them. So to give you any information on that, or try to, would be, I shouldn't do that. So I hope that answers your question.
There you go. So and listen, that's to be expected. Tua hasn't been around yet. He hasn't really practiced with them yet. So it's all virtual. We don't know anything yet. And we won't know anything until they finally take the field and they can get their hands on them and they can work them out and train them and all that. And then you'll figure everything out. I get it. Man, we're all dying for it, right? We're just dying for any mini camp or whatever, just to come out and see them and practice and all that. It's sad that a lot of fans haven't been able to have that regular, like that mini camp right after the draft would have been really fun with Tua. Would have been really cool. That's these are moments that you guys deserve, and you haven't had it yet, so it's tough. But right now, they don't have anything at this point. So that's the coach addressing several subjects. Myron says that maybe this is the conversation that we need to have at this point. And I would agree with you, Myron, that this is a conversation that we have to talk about it in order to bring it out to the front and work on it, and somehow or another we can overcome all this. And listen, we have made progress. Okay, let's not make it sound like we haven't, because there's a lot of us that aren't racist. Okay? I'd like, Bill, myself, plenty of you out there. There's a lot of us that are good people, and we just treat people like people. And if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. You know what I mean? And if you're a nice person, you're a nice person. That's it. Your religion, your sexual orientation, your nationality, your colors, not taken into account. You are what you are, So I think there's a lot of us that are good people in this world, and we all treat each other like human beings, and we all look at each other like human beings. We don't measure each other by any kind of, title or something. So I do want to give a lot of us credit, because we got a lot of good people in this world. All right? There's a lot of you out there that are really good people. Oh, you got some blue crap on the side of your mouth. I do? Where? Where? I don't know. What is that? Is that like is that a Democrat joke or something? Or is that on your screen? Let's see. What else do we have? On the chat board. Oh, maybe all these voices are needed as aggregate to lead to something more honest. I'm sorry, it was Dougie Fresh, not Myron, that said it. There you go. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Yes, I would agree. I would definitely agree. Tommy Italian says, this is also a sports show where people go to escape from their daily lives. I'm with you. Omar Lopez says, just got me some dandy donuts in Hollywood. Let them know Big O sent me. All right, well, let them know that they can become a sponsor once again one day. Would be nice. I mean, we're giving them business, but, it's like, okay. Would be nice if they gave us some business, too. Dougie Fresh says, I really did order the damn welding mask for Bill. It's getting sent to VSS. They're going to give it to him on air in July. So there you go. You got a welding mask. We'll put you on camera with the welding mask.
You know how long it's been since I've done anything welding or whatnot? High school.
Oh, wow.
When I learned how to, do the torch.
Yeah.
Use a welding rod. Yeah. I completed both those things.
Well, Sendel goes, Omar, awesome donuts. You should try Mojo. They're both good too, man. Let's see. I got a Megadeth COVID mask last week. Super Boom Shack says, nice. I haven't got my Iron Maiden one. I'm still waiting for my damn Iron Maiden mask. It's taken like 7 weeks for this crap. It's been a couple of weeks, man. Can't wait to get my damn Maiden mask.
The thing that really stinks is no matter how long it takes to get here, it's going to get used.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
I think that, if you, especially traveling, this is the norm now.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. By the way, I thought Max Kellerman was a little extreme on hockey, bro. I thought he killed the sport of hockey, man. Damn. I don't know if you guys heard the soundbite. Do we have the soundbite there of Max Kellerman? Here's Max Kellerman. I forgot the name of his show on Fox, but he was talking about, or is it ESPN? I don't even know, whatever show he's on.
That would be ESPN.
It is ESPN. There you go. He's a good dude. I know Max, and I've had him on my show. But, dude, he killed hockey. Go ahead. Play Max.
Listen, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but in the United States of America, no one really cares about hockey. The old joke is every town has 20,000 hockey fans. They all have season tickets. So the arenas are always sold out, but the TV ratings don't do anything. So it's not one of the 4 major team sports, although it has a strong, I don't.
All right, so look. I know hockey is not a basketball, an NFL. I get it. I totally understand it. I think MLS is going to it may have already passed it, or it's right there. It's about to pass it. It's a niche sport is what it is. People do care about it. It's just not a large portion of people. But they are passionate about it, and they do follow the sport. Okay, because I talk with people that are hockey fans all the time on Twitter, here on the show. We have guests come on to talk hockey every once in a while and stuff like that. I mean, we love to talk Panthers, and we love our Panthers, even though I don't think they're really going anywhere anytime soon because of Dale Talon. But whatever.
That love isn't reciprocated back, huh?
No.
The owners are trying, but
the owners are great. The owners are fantastic.
It comes a little short.
I like Q, but they got to change the GM, unfortunately. It's time. Guy's had 10 years. But I thought it was kind of cruel to just like nobody cares. I mean, come on, man. People are showing up to those games, right? And people show up to, I know people tell me all the time, oh, I don't care about soccer. Well, people show up to soccer, and people tell me, oh, I don't care about baseball. Okay. Those sports may all be niche sports, although I think soccer will become a major sport by 2030. in this country, but they're all considered niche sports. But it doesn't mean that people don't care about them. I mean, that's just a...
You could say that about golf.
Yeah, right, exactly. People do care about golf.
A lot of money spent on golf.
Yeah,
people
man.
golfing.
Yeah. What's it called?
Hell, vacations, whole entire vacations are centered around going golfing.
Linda Cohn on ESPN, who loves hockey. She eats, lives, and breathes hockey. She plays hockey. She's a goaltender. She goes, what do you mean nobody cares about hockey? Very disappointed and surprised you would make a statement like that, Max Kellerman. It's insulting to this great game, those associated with it, cover it, and the passionate fan base here in the United States. And so you would figure that Linda, who is a monster hockey fan, would come out and defend hockey to Max Kellerman. But I just thought it was kind of funny that he would just roast the sport.
She's a hardcore Ranger, ain't she?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, because, being obviously back in the day when we had to adopt, being an Islander back then.
She's such a good person, too, man.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
She's actually been down on the ice in a full go between the pipes.
No, she plays goalie, man.
Yeah.
That's what she does on the side as a hobby. Dean G chiming in on the super chat. Thank you, Dean G. Very nice.
Wow. Recent research has shown
super chat.
makes no sense.
Yeah, you're getting focused on all the wrong sort of details here. You need to forget about all the normal rules that apply in society.
Wasted no time. Super chat. I thought it was really, 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 really cool.
You should all be very proud of yourself.
I have no response.
Super chat.
That was perfect.
Dean G says, thanks, Big O, for the show. Dolphins all the way. Can't wait, man. Can't wait for the season. It's going to be absolutely awesome. J Real 101 says, what NFL coach will turn it around this year? Also, who has the most pressure? Coach to turn it around this year?
Flores, we're going to the playoffs.
Well, there's no turnaround there. It's just going up. Dolphins are just trending up. Turnaround. Somebody had a down year and will bounce back this year. That's a good one, man. I got to think about that one.
Are you going to go with the one that should because of all the talent they have on the team?
Oh, who are we talking about?
New coach, Dallas.
Oh. Yeah, but
they got the talent, man.
Okay, but all right, you can go with the team. Okay, yeah, because it's not the coach, but the team's got to bounce back. Okay. All right. That makes a lot of sense.
They should, right?
That's a really good pick.
They
should. They should. They
Come
got
on.
enough talent. Yeah. No, that's a really good pick, actually, as a team. And then what was his other question? Also, who has the most pressure? Brady. For sure. Yeah. No, he's going to Tampa. They had a top 10 defense the second half of the season. He's loaded with Mike Evans and Godwin and two tight ends. I would go with Brady and Tampa. They've got some pressure on them to really bounce back. I'm not expecting much from the Patriots. So I would say Brady and Bruce Arians is another guy that's labeled, a really good coach. Well, dude, it's time for you to win something.
Do it as a head coach.
Yeah. So win. So I'll go with Tampa and Brady. A lot of pressure on them.
From a personal, Nagy, Pace, the Bears.
No, not really, because they've got Trubisky.
No, but they went
That's
and
not
got
realistic.
Wait, they went and got Foles.
Not realistic.
They still have that defense.
Not realistic.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is Nagy's third year. You
Don't
were
matter to
12
me.
and 4.
If you don't have a quarterback, I can't expect you to win.
Yeah, well, you need to do something. man.
No, terrible pick. No. There's no expectations for the Bears.
If they don't do anything
If
this
you
year,
don't-
they're gone.
That's fine.
Nagy and Pace will
That's fine,
be
but
gone.
But that you're thinking as a Bears fan. I don't care about Bears fans. Screw Bears fans. The question is, who has the most pressure? Nagy has no pressure on my eyes because he can't win with Trubisky and Foles. He's a fool, and so is Pace. All they did was set themselves up to get fired. Brady and Arians is at the end of his career. He has to win a title or win big. Brady left the Patriots because he wants to prove he can win. He's got all the weapons on offense to be successful and an up-and-coming defense. That's real pressure and real expectations.
Expectations?
The Bears have no expectations because their offense is a joke.
Another team with expectations, probably Tennessee, because
Okay.
of where they got to.
I got no problem with that one.
And
I got no problem with that one.
The people in Detroit, they have to do something also.
Yes.
Or else, and that's what I'm talking about.
And they have a decent
You don't-
quarterback.
if you don't do something,
Okay.
you're out.
But you have a
Those two
quarterback there.
Yeah, but
If Chicago had Matt Stafford, then I would agree with
the
you.
way they're looking at it is you got your guy Foles that you worked with in the past. He beat us in the you know what I mean?
That's fan crap.
No,
that's fan crap.
If Chicago,
that's fan
the
crap.
organization needs to get rid of Payson.
No. That's fan crap that they're sitting there like a bunch of idiots. Bears fans are idiots. You Bears fans out there, you're a bunch of idiots if you're sitting there going, well, Foles and Trubisky have got to step up. You're an idiot. Because neither one's going to step up. Neither one's a good quarterback. Both are getting fired. Everybody that's looking at it realistically,
Well, that's good.
We don't expect anything from the Bears because they don't have a quarterback. That's it.
I hope you're right, man.
No, I know I'm
they
right.
need to.
You don't have a quarterback, you're not going anywhere.
Well, they haven't had a quarterback for ever in a day.
Okay,
Gotta
and
go
it's a
back to
shame, and it's a
86.
crime. With that defense, they should be able, and they have good weapons, they should be able to be an impact. But without a quarterback, you're not going anywhere. So no expectations. The Bucks, big time expectations.
They went all in sideways.
They have
yeah,
to.
They
went and even got Gronk.
Yeah.
Big O, I was watching the Dolphins game in which Isaiah Ford played in, and that young man has some skills and confidence. Hope he finally makes the 55-man roster. Let's hope so. He's got a shot. He's got a shot to earn that last spot. The one thing that I think is going to hurt him, he's not a standout special teamer. And if he was, that would lock him in at number 5. But if there's another receiver that can be a better special teamer and be as productive as a receiver, he's screwed. Okay? That's what I would tell you. All right, you guys are going. Foles is not going to be holding the clipboard for $17 million a year. Bye-bye, Trubisky. Yeah, but either way, neither one's going to get him anywhere. I'm sorry. Foles had his lucky moment and his run with the championship. He's never going to pull that crap off again.
He's a hot and cold. He'll go win 5 games and look like all world, and then the next 8 throw more interceptions than anybody has ever in 8 games.
Samuel Robina came up with a good one. Better than even the second one you came up with. The first one you came up with was excellent, was Dallas. But the Colts, that's a good one. Because now they have Phillip Rivers, and so they
got
were a
that
pretty good
offensive
team.
line. They got a running game, a defense. Yeah, they got.
And remember, they traded for the defensive lineman from San Francisco. They got a big addition on that D-line to improve it. So
they got a nice little team.
Right, exactly. So the Colts with Rivers are kind of considered that team that's supposed to be a little better this year. That's a good one. That's a good one, Samuel Robina.
You know what's
I like
an
that
interesting
one.
1-0?
That one's good.
Houston, man.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Houston. Where do they just
But,
fall apart? Do they tread water and do what they do? Get in the playoffs?
Injuries.
Yeah.
Because if J.J. Watt gets injured, then you lose your best guy on defense.
Ugh.
Right, because that's gonna, and then
you know what, that one guy.
And as much as I love the quarterback, Deshaun Watson's had his share of injuries too. So that's kind of.
But if you lose Watt or Deshaun,
and
pack it in.
I know that they acquired. What's the name of the receiver from the Rams?
The Rams, yes, yeah.
He was with the Patriots, and everybody. He's like his 4th team in 7 years or 6 years, whatever.
And you said many weeks ago that there's something with this guy.
Okay,
you can't be that good and.
But he's a good receiver,
on, right?
But still, it's a downgrade from Hopkins. Okay, while it's a good receiver, it's not Hopkins. Hopkins is one of the 3 best receivers, 1, 2, or 3. I don't care. I don't care about the argument. Whatever. He's one of the best.
Right.
Okay, this kid is not him.
No.
So again,
and obviously there's some baggage issues.
And you took a step back. And
to be that good and go through 4 teams, bro. Yeah.
And I love the other kid that they have, but he's always injured. He's got thigh issues. What's his name? The speedster that Houston has.
Oh.
I love that kid. He can play ball, but he can't stay healthy, bro. He's always injured. And that's another thing that I see with the Texans, that it seems like injuries also get in their way all the freaking time. Okay? I can't remember either guy. That's how much, the football season hasn't been going on for 3 months. Or no, actually a lot longer because the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, major months. William Fuller, thank you. Thank you, Will Fuller.
Kid's got some skills, man.
Ricky Sanchez chiming in there. Thank you. Okay? And I love Fuller, man. He is a flat-out player. But he can't stay healthy. Like, I love him, but I don't want him on my team. Like, if you tell me the Dolphins are signing, I'm going to go, yeah, he can play, but he can't stay healthy. I would be disappointed because he would be a tease. Because that guy can outrun everybody.
Are you saying we've already dealt with one of those kind of guys the last 4 years?
No. And the worst part is speedsters with hammy issues. Forget it, bro. Forget it. It's like
there's only one way to.
It reoccurs. It reoccurs. It's all the time. It's not like he blows out an ankle and then a knee and then a shoulder. No. It's the hammies all the time.
Hammy or groins. There's only one thing to do: shut them down and do nothing. The less you do, the better you get.
And speedsters kill you with that stuff, man. They kill you with that stuff. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, that's 786-322-1105. And a music note for those of you out there, if you're a Metallica fan, James Hetfield is putting something out for charity, and it's going to help the band's nonprofit All Within My Hands Foundation. He has offered fans a chance to win a set of 2 handmade tables which were crafted by James Hetfield himself. The Garage ethos was not limited to a Metallica cover, Garage Inc., as Hetfield worked on his own garage with newly found downtime as he remained at home with social distancing measures in place due to the coronavirus. The result, his effort, is a matching pair of tables which will be raffled off. Fans can submit multiple entries here at $10 a piece. During Shelter in Place, Metallica's own James Hetfield used some of his time to hone in on a new creative outlet. He has designed and built a set of handmade end tables with all welding and woodwork happening in his own garage. A post on his Within My Hands Foundation Instagram page described, "We are raffling them off, and one lucky winner will receive the set signed and personalized by James. All proceeds will benefit the foundation and the work supporting the wielding programs funded by Metallica Scholars Initiative." And so he shows the tables there that he did. They're kind of simple tables, Here you go. Let me show them to you. There you go. So if you want to, but again, it'll be obviously a talking piece. Because if whoever's a Metallica fan, it's like, dude, James Hetfield made these tables. And they're signed by him and all that stuff. So while you're sitting down smoking your cigar and you got your cigar ashtray on that table, or maybe you got your drink on that table, make sure you use a Metallica coaster to protect that table.
They'll put a piece of glass over the top of it.
That too. You can do that also if you want. I love that move. That's a nice move. Although I don't know what the texture of that table. I don't know if you want to put maybe it's already, it's got varnish on it and it's protected. I don't know.
I still wouldn't take the chance. I want it the way it was, man.
Right, that's
Put
true.
something over
That's
the
a good
top
point.
of it. And
it's a good point.
Whatever you want to do to it now, hey, have at it.
Yeah,
Just leave
exactly.
that piece on top of it.
All right, so the question I have for all of you on the chat board, accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. How much are those 2 tables going to go for? What's a Metallica fanatic going to pay for those tables? Because the tables it's not like the looks of them are like, wow, it's going to put my entire room over the top or anything. They're just, nice tables.
I would guess close to 10,000.
You think, huh?
Maybe more. Maybe, between 10 and 20.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of Metallica maniacs. Yeah. And to have something Metallica that was made by them, yeah,
All right, you went more than me. I was going to go $2,000. Wow. Okay, so you got 10. I got 2.
You got to remember those fanatical.
No, you're right.
Metallica.
You're right.
What would something
You're
like
probably right.
this Iron Maiden go with the you get like
Yeah.
that maniac
Yeah.
status?
Yeah. Yeah, but they would have put like an Eddie on it or something.
Oh, there would be probably a bunch of Eddies on
Yeah,
it.
this one's kind of plain Jane. That's the thing. Only a rich person can afford it. You're right, Myron. You and I can't afford it. Not that I really am like clamoring for it. I got to be honest with you. It's not like something that I really, really want. You know?
You who has every Iron Maiden import.
Yeah, but
Right.
I mean, I don't know about those tables. They're kind of
If
lame.
if they were an Iron
If
Maiden
it was an
table,
Iron Maiden domino table,
right?
Now we're talking.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like a domino table of Iron Maiden, that would be effing cool. Now we're talking.
During the Heat's run, man, my next door neighbor Juan had a Miami Heat domino table, and we would play dominoes like maniacs, the whole neighborhood.
Jay Rio 101 says, Big O, if you had to choose, would you pick going to the Super Bowl or Game 7 of the NBA Finals? Super Bowl. Dolphins in the Super Bowl, Heat in Game 7, Super Bowl Dolphins, bro. Super Bowl Dolphins all the way. I've already done the Heat thing, so it's not that big a deal. And when the Dolphins won championships, I was so young that I didn't really, you're 7, 8 years old. You're not really enjoying or appreciating or really understanding the scope of what's going on. You're just high-fiving your dad.
We pre-gamed 1984, though. I can remember you and me pre-gaming 1984.
No,
We were out
84.
there.
Well, we were already, I'm 18 then. It's a whole different world then. You know what I'm saying? It's a
You
different
were not
ballgame.
18.
Yeah, 84. I'm 18. I'm born in 66. You do the math.
Oh, you were.
Yes, I'm 18. So yeah, I mean that's different. But when you're 7 and 8, come on, man. You see it, but you don't really understand what the hell is going on. And trust me, at 7 and 8, you understand a hell of a lot less with the definition of RTVs in those days. Because it ain't no HD, bro. Okay? Whole different ball game.
In hindsight, I'm sitting here thinking, we were before the game, remember? We hit the streets. We were having a blast.
Yeah.
Man, can you imagine what would have happened if we would have won? Because that pregame was out of control.
Yeah. Dougie Fresh says, forget the Metallica table. I'm saving up for a J-Lo massage table. Now we're talking. Super Bowl Dolphins. Nice ring to it. Ian from Brooklyn. It's going to happen. It's coming. Okay? I'm telling you, Greer and Flores are leading this team eventually to a title. It's going to happen. You'll see. You shall see. I'm telling you. Okay? It will definitely happen. All right. 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to me on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always, because as you know, that is a 24-hour talk show. Let me see what we got here on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. NFL players should join National Guard so they can learn. You know what? The NFL players need to just stay in the NFL, my man. Let the National Guard do their thing. Everybody's got a role in life, okay? NFL players can make an impact in their community in many different ways. They don't have to have a gun in their hands. Big O, I sent you the link on Marcel Ozuna's wife to your email. Thank you, sir. I saw it. She attacked him and hit him with some glass object and busted him up, and they arrested her and all that stuff for domestic violence. It looks like they've got such a healthy relationship. Jake from comments scare me more than Drew Brees. Brees' comments reflects more ignorance and tone deafness and insensitivity. Exactly, that's what I said. From its spewing feelings, thoughts, and ideas, it is definitely frightening. Oh, I'm with you. Fromm is a con man. Fromm sounds to me like the racist that is just saying something to shut you up and to appease you and to give you what you want to hear, but it's not really what he feels in his heart. Big O, you and Bill knocked it out of the park again this week. Enjoy the week. James in the DR. Thank you, James. Have that Presidente on me, my friend.
Thank you, James.
Yeah. We need to do a show from the Dominican Republic, bro. Now, that would be absolutely awesome if we can do that.
We had aspirations of heading over there, right?
Yeah.
What was it? Was it Metallica?
Yes, it was Metallica.
And Greta?
No, it was just
Metallica.
Greta's in Brazil.
That was Brazil, December.
And right now they have a pandemic going on that I am not going there for 2 years.
Yeah.
What's it called? And then Dominican, it was just, remember at the Hard Rock, we found out that the Hard Rock in the Dominican Republic was the one that was hosting GNR. So we were going to do that.
Right, because we were trying to figure out where they would do the concert.
Yeah. I got hookups in the Hard Rock. I could have set us up at the Hard Rock.
Metallica, if you're listening.
They're really good people with
Plan on going back to the DR. Stay right there at the Hard Rock. We'll be there.
Hard Rock people have always been exceptional with me. So I could definitely maybe get that done. And we could have done the show from the Hard Rock. Tony Leggett chiming in on the Super Chat. Thank you, Tony.
I know that, dude. Where'd you get this?
Super Chat.
Oh, gnarly. Awesome. Totally awesome.
Tony, thank you, sir. Appreciate you chiming in on the Super Chat. And his question on the Super Chat is, he wants to know, what year is Tua taking us to the Super Bird Super Chat? All right, well, the Super Bowl, all right, Tony, just want you to know, this is how I have it planned out. Third year. That's right. This year, he'll be mostly on the bench. He'll play a little towards the end of the year when the line is a little bit more settled in the running game. They'll get a couple of games under the belt. Then next year, they draft a stud running back and another wide receiver and slew of other things. Probably add another lineman or two. Then that team gets better next year. Tua gets comfortable in the offense, feels really good. Then year 3 is year 4 under Chris Greer and Flores, which that team will then be fully loaded going into year 4, year 3 of Tua. And they will be ready to contend for a Super Bowl and will win a Super Bowl in year 3 of Tua as a Miami Dolphin. Mark it down. Write it down. Etched in stone. Save it. Lock it in. Lead pipe lock. Dolphins. Super Bowl winners. Year 3, 2 more seasons from now. Okay? There you go. Just had a thought. Basketball could use indoor football stadiums to have games and social distance. Not a basketball fan, but it could test the waters for NFL teams. All right? Only problem is, my man, the NBA leads, they don't follow. And so the NBA is going to do their thing when it's all said and done, my man. Big O, I'm glad the Dolphins did not draft Duke Johnson and Isaiah Crowell. Both have had fumbling issues. Yeah, you've sent this one before. I have read it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And not that those guys were ever going to do anything for the Dolphins anyways. Even if they were great players. The Dolphins are several players away from making an impact. Okay? They're closer now. That's the funny part. That the Dolphins are closer now to a title than they have been in years because now they're building it the right way. See, they weren't ever building anything right the last 20 years. That's why they were never going to get to a title. And how do you get to a title with Cam Cameron and Tony Sperano and, Mike Tannenbaum? No, you're not doing that. Sorry. It's just not going to happen. Okay? All right, Bill, I think it's time for us to wrap it up on the show here. We did 3.5 hours today, I think.
Yeah, and you've jammed for an hour straight.
Yes, we have talked for an hour straight. You're right about that. Yeah, but I mean, people, you guys tune in.
If you don't do at least 45 during the course of the show, at least 1:45, it's not the norm, bro.
Come on, guys. You tune into 560 and 790. Their hosts can go for 30 and 40 minutes and an hour straight all the time, don't they? Don't they do that on terrestrial radio without any commercials for 30 minutes straight? 20 minutes straight? 15 minutes straight? Folks are used to it. All right, we got to give plenty of love. So many of you have super chatted today, and thank you so much, man. Let's go with Omar Lopez in the house, baby. Dean G, Tony Leggett, Myron Sanchez, Tommy Italian 305 for life, Cookie Vice, Ray Grulon, Man of 1,005 Holds, Tommy in Hialeah, Super Boom Shack, Robert Triana. All of you out there chiming in on the super chat, thank you so much out there. We really, really appreciate it. Wow.
Recent research has shown
super chat
makes no sense. You're getting focused on all the wrong sort of details here. You need to forget about all the normal rules that apply in society.
Wasted no time. Super chat. I thought it was really, 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 really cool.
You should all be very proud of yourself.
I have no response.
Super chat.
That was perfect.
Thank you. Drubo says, can't listen to it anymore, Oh, what is it? I don't know. You got to tell me what you can't listen to. Frankie and Bean says, I got to get back to work anyway. Later, Big O. Chat fins up. There you go. Everybody's leaving like I am. Don't forget to catch the Big O on Sirius X. No, I'm not on tomorrow. Not on. We are off on Saturdays.
Just left a hole in a whole bunch of people's lives.
Yes, we are off on. We are off now for the next few Saturdays. We're off for now. They had to make a cutback, which I got to tell you, for me personally, I'm good because I've got Inter starting now. I've got the podcast going. I've got more than enough work. So I'm good. I love doing my stuff on Sirius, but now with Inter coming in, and this is becoming a bigger part of my life now, I got to run the whole damn thing. I'm not really going to have much of a life here coming up. So that will take up a lot of my time. I wasn't really going to do a lot of Sirius down the line. That's why I'm kind of filling in only on Sirius, because this and Inter are, front and center. They are priorities for me. So I got to tell you, I'm actually looking forward to sleeping in tomorrow and not waking up at 6 a.m. To Korean baseball. I don't mind doing shows, but it's been, I got to tell you, how many people do 3 to 4 hours a day of straight ass talk? Okay, way more than they do at any of the other local stations. And then also do a 6-day on a Saturday in a time where there's no sports. You know what it is to come up with 6 days of sports talk when there's no sports? It's a challenge. So trust me, one less day of it is not the worst thing in the world, man. So I appreciate the rest, and I can recharge the battery for the new challenges that we got coming up ahead. Anyway, I thank all of you out there for tuning in and keeping it locked and sharing the subscription there. Share the link with folks. Thank you for following. Thank you for liking. Thank you for watching all of that. And we appreciate Larry Holder from The Athletic, Tashawn Reed also from The Athletic, Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald, Bill and Philippe, of course, as always, supporting us and doing great work on the audio and the video side.
Good job by you, O.
Thank you, sir. We are just trying to survive every day. All of you on the chat board out there, as always, watching, and your dedication to us. I love you all for all of that. We will see you on Monday. All right, you guys be good out there. More than anything, please be safe. Stay away from the big crowds, okay?
Yes.
Be safe.
Have a great weekend, everybody.